great show from the Sun Belt today as Western goes 9-6 in the league. And so long from Bowling Green.
Every February, the city of Cuomo and the Central
Cleanly, Taylor to Grimes. Now Josh Patton, the third baseman for Western Kentucky, the first left-hander we see, hitting .344, 3 homers, 38 runs batted in. Breaking ball down low, ball 1.
And you know what else that sacrifice does, barring an unconventional double play? That gets your big dog, your big hitter, C.J. Martin, who's carrying a .387 average. That'll get you Martin up to bat with a couple guys in scoring position.
2 on, 1 out. 1-0 pitch, breaking ball, a little bit high. I tell you, he got away with one. There's Patton fouls it back, and that evens the count at 1-1.
Wow, you look at these top hitters in the Western Kentucky lineup, just littered with 340s and 350s and 380s. A very good hitting baseball team.
Ninth start of the year, 17th appearance for Wade Taylor here in 1996. Hasn't pitched very much at all lately, as we told you. Had a little tender elbow. Pitched very briefly last weekend in the Southwestern Louisiana series. Pretty good breaking ball there on the outside part of the plate. Fouled away. And now Taylor, once again, ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Patton.
And what you're looking for here as a pitcher, obviously, strikeout at any time you're looking for that. Infield pop fly would come in handy right here. Go ahead and hold it down. Keep the base runners for Martin, who's on deck, at a minimum.
Patton out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball again, right back up to the box. And it's going to score 1 run. And on the hard hit ground ball, Western Kentucky takes the lead as Chabala comes in to score. Idlet moves over to third on the play. And the second hit of the inning for Josh Patton and an RBI.
Again, maybe a tough fate for Wade Taylor. Gets a ground ball. Unfortunately, comes right at him. He gets a little too much of his body on it, and it's in no man's land, as you can see. Base hit all the way, RBI.
39 RBI on the season now for Patton. It's 1-0 Toppers, and still only 1 down for this guy. C.J. Martin hitting only .387, 13 home runs, 56 runs batted in. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Breaking ball down in the dirt, and no throw will be made. As advancing out to second is Patton.
Speaking of C.J. Martin, the batter now, the star, if you will, for Western Kentucky. What a neat story. 1 at bat, Barry. He was a pitcher last year. 1 at bat, did not even get a hit last year. He's up for Sun Belt Player of the Year honors. Now look at those numbers. As you can see, 13 home runs, 56 RBI.
And the 1-0 pitch. Right on the black. The outside corner with a breaking ball, and it's 1-1. and 17 are the Dolphins when the opposition scores first, and one of those wins came up yesterday. Chopper to the pitcher. Strong play by Wade Taylor. He looked back the runner, Matt Idlet, over at third. Wheeled and fired to retire C.J. Martin. That is a big out.
I tell you, if you're watching at home, that play right there, Taylor, not the most nimble of foot, as you can see, makes a great play. Looks the runner back, turns, loses sight of first base, re-picks it up, and makes a strong throw. Great play by Taylor.
So two on, 2 out now for the catcher, Eric Rosa. Native of Puerto Rico, played some junior college ball at Indian Hills College up in Iowa. Eric having a good year as well, as you see there, hitting .340 in an RBI situation here. Breaking ball down and away, ball 1.
You're Taylor, you're thinking, if I can get out of here with 1 run, the ball hasn't been hit hard the entire inning. I've been in trouble the entire inning. You'll take that right now.
Taylor with the look and the 1-0. Good looking breaking ball there. Taylor, I mean, shows no effects whatsoever here early on of the tender elbow that's been nagging him the last couple of weeks.
If anything, Barry, you get a feel that Taylor may be around the plate too much. You know, there are different degrees of strikes you can throw. A too good of a strike, or you could throw a pitcher's strike.
Line drive hit into right center field. Drifting over to make the play is Jason Hamilton, and that does it for the Toppers. But Western comes up with a run on a couple of base hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. After 1/2 inning, it's Western Kentucky 1, and the Dolphins coming to bat.
play-by-play on CNBC Squawk Box. Technology stocks have led the market. Reports and analysis before trading begins. Brokers are scrambling. In the investing game, you play to win. Squawk Box, weekdays on CNBC. First in business.
1-0 Dolphins trail the Hilltoppers as we move to the home half of the first. Batting order for Jacksonville University. It looks like this. Joe Samples, center fielder, leads it off. Right fielder Jason Hamilton bats second. Talmadge Naneri, outstanding hitter, plays left and hits third. Chad Roney is alive, and he's hitting the ball great of late, and he will bat in the cleanup position today. First baseman Eric Wood bats fifth. Shortstop Zach Osbeck in the sixth hole. Andy Worster, the big DH, bats seventh. Duffy Grimes playing second, batting eighth. And the third baseman, Todd Greger, hitting in the ninth position. Defensively for Western Kentucky, it's Idlet, Chabala, Martin in the outfield, Patton, Grimes, Flynn, McKenzie third to first, Eric Rosa behind the plate, and a youngster, Josh Novotny, on the hill today for the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Novotny coming back after going 4 2/3, Terry, in the second of the doubleheader yesterday. 2-hit relief, had 5 strikeouts, and showed some good stuff.
And to keep things in perspective, you talk about JU's pitcher Taylor, sore arm, 3, 4, 5 guy. You know the other team's throwing their 3, 4, or 5 guys, so same starting point for both teams.
First pitch to Samples, just a little bit low for ball 1. Samples, 326 on the year, and has a nice little tattoo on that right elbow. You can see about 8 or 9 seams still on that right bow where he took a shot yesterday. He said after he was hit, he couldn't even swing the bat and was questionable right up until game time today.
And he'll tell you, oh, by the way, I'm leading off and I'm in the lineup, pal.
That's right. Here's the 1-1 to Joe, down low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
We talked about Ryan Diggs, obviously absent from the JU lineup. Speaking of being dinged up a little bit, Samples needs to get on base. Obviously, he's now the table setter in the lineup.
Bouncing ball to the third baseman. Samples cannot beat out the strong throw from Josh Patton. So 1 up, 1 down here in the home half of the first inning. Good strong throw from Patton as we say hello for the first time to Jason Hamilton, the right fielder for Jacksonville University. Hamilton 2 for 3 in the second game of the doubleheader yesterday, getting his average up over the 300 mark. Had a hit in the first game as well, so 3 for 7 Saturday for Jason Hamilton. The guys you see there, a couple of home runs, only 17 runs batted in, though, and that is a very, very disappointing number, I know, for Jason.
No doubt. The Dolphins also, as a team, need to shake a tendency that's been happening in the last couple of weeks, getting behind, and even at times getting behind big. They just find themselves on the short end of every score, it seems like.
Fastball fouled away, and no balls and 2 strikes to count on Hamilton. Now Jason Hamilton, the Jacksonville University graduate that he is.
What about that?
Walked yesterday morning right before the doubleheader. Novotny ahead in the count, 0-2, 1 out. Bottom of the first, and the Toppers up 1-0. Boy, he came 3/4. That's a wicked-looking pitch.
Nasty
right there.
pitch there from
I'm
Novotny.
saying.
Speaking of walking, though, Hamilton walking yesterday, a lesser announcer would say he'd probably take a walk right now, wouldn't he, Barry?
He would take a walk right now. 1-2 from the freshman, Josh Novotny. Big chopper driving the third sacker. Patton back on his heels a little bit. 2 plays, 2 assists for Patton on a couple of strong throws. Good defense by the Hilltoppers here in the bottom of the first.
A couple nice plays by Patton over third. Obviously, this ball, nothing you can do. You just sit there and wait for it to come down. Field it, number 1, as he does. A lot of people tend to rush that. And number 2, make a strong throw across the diamond, as he does as well, to record the second out of the inning.
2 up, 2 down now, and the Dolphin left fielder Talmadge Naneri comes to the plate. Naneri, the leading hitter on the Jacksonville University team, at .335. 3 homers, 32 runs batted in for Talmadge. Takes up and away, ball 1.
Speaking of funny stories, Naneri's a funny story. Started out the year hitting a buck something. Ended up facing, I want to say, 9 straight left-handed pitchers. Welcome to Division I baseball. He's finally righted the ship as evidenced by his .335 average.
Hits that one on a rope, and it's going to be hooking foul down the right field side. You're exactly right there. We really saw Neri break out on one of our broadcasts in the Lamar series several weeks back. And I'm telling you, this guy never looked back. You know, he started the season. Yeah, they were, you know, platooning him a little bit. He just never really got a chance to play every day because they were facing so many left-handers, as you mentioned. He just put this guy in the lineup and hadn't gotten him out. And he rips that one for a single into right field. So Neri continues his outstanding hitting for Terry Alexander. A 2-out single here in the bottom of the first inning.
Speaking of Neri at the plate, what a beautiful swing. Talking to Terry Alexander, the head coach of JU, around the batting cage earlier, says probably his best hitter in terms of size, tools, mechanics, and as you see, a sweet swing from the left side of the plate.
Yeah, they compare him to a guy named Mark Marini, who
He'll hit it a little
just
bit for
could
you.
hit everything thrown at him when he played in a JU uniform. Chad Roney had a big hit yesterday, raising his average to 253. One of his 2 homers coming in the first game of the double dip. Roney, a big swing there, fouls at the plate for strike 1. Here's another guy who's been just battling all year long. He's had some little nagging wrist problems.
Banged up his ankle early in the preseason workouts, and a lot of people said he never quite got healthy. He may just be catching his second wind, actually.
I think you're exactly right, Terry. He's finally just feeling better. Doesn't feel the pressure that he did early in the season. 0-1 pitch, and it's a good one. Outside corner, strike 2.
Neri on first, I would imagine with Roney swinging a hot bat, he would stay put unless it's a hit-and-run situation. Roney swinging a hot bat for the first time all year. JU as a team really doesn't run much. Situational running, though.
Have stolen only 52 bases all season. Roney checks, and now Novotny going to step back with a count 0-2. I want to make a mistake right here to Roney, because the numbers don't reflect it, but he has power. The 0-2. Tried to bait him with a high fastball. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now. 2 men out, bottom of the first inning. Western got 1 in the top of the first to stake this youngster. Josh Novotny to the 1-0 lead. Here's the 1-2. Well, you saw Rosa just kind of sneak out there and set up on the outside part of the plate. Novotny delivered it right there, but Roney able to get a bat on it and stay alive.
I tell you, I like Roney's mannerisms at the plate right now. He's got the I'm the aggressor look to him. He's jumping all over these fastballs that he's facing, just missing them, but I like his aggressiveness right now.
Well, he was 3 for 4 in game 1, 1 for 3 in game 2. He's gotten his stroke back. Boy, you see Chad really wanted to jump on that high breaking ball and just got underneath it.
I was going to say, and you highlighted it, high breaking ball. This pitch, Novotny got away with one right there. That ball could be just about landing right now.
Oh, Chad would love to have that one back. He was so anxious. He saw that big hook coming up there. A little bit out in front. Once again, now sets for the 1-2 with the runner going, and he got another high breaking ball and got underneath it again.
Again, we've seen Neri running in kind of a situational run. Obviously, Novotny has shown in this half inning that he's around the plate. So not a bad time to start him a little bit. That's more of a hit and run, obviously, than a run and hit, actually, than a straight steal.
So we'll see. Novotny, Terry has worked him with consecutive breaking balls here. We'll see if the big freshman decides to come back with the heat. Neri at first, 2 out. Well, he comes back inside, drops down with that 3/4 breaking ball, and it was in tight. Deuce is wild now with 2 out, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I like the pitch, though. I like the change of delivery. That is a little nasty. He doesn't come full side arm, but comes about 3/4 and sneaks it in. You never know when it's going to come at you.
And indeed, a balk call, as you heard it from the JU dugout. Likewise, you heard it from Fred Scrafidi, the first base umpire. A balk call on Novotny. So Talmadge Nuneri moves up 90 feet to second.
Didn't quite very see what happened. It might have been a start-stop situation with Novotny.
Yeah.
Might have a flinch move, but actually, you speak of the first base umpire, all the umpires simultaneously. So obviously, it was something that was easily read.
Eric Rosa, the catcher for Western, comes out and has a word with Novotny. Now Nuneri in scoring position. And the 2-2 to Roney. Fastball hit hard and right at the third baseman, who makes the play. 3 assists in the inning for Josh Patton, and the Dolphins come up empty. We've played one complete from Brest Field on the campus of Jacksonville University, with Western Kentucky leading the Dolphins 1-0.
Hey, Florida sports fans, with 8 pro franchises, hot college action, plus golf and tennis, there's plenty to keep you busy here in the Sunshine State. And now, to keep you in touch with your favorite sports, there's Florida Sports Fan magazine. Florida Sports Fan covers Florida's pro and college sports, teams with real news, previews, and interviews written by the best sports writers in the business. Call for a free issue now. If you like Florida Sports Fan, we'll keep it coming for just $18 a year. So call now.
One complete as we come to you from Jacksonville University, with the Dolphins trailing Western Kentucky 1-0. We move to the top of the second. We'll show you what happened yesterday. Game 1. Western jumped up 5-1 on the Dolphins, but JU gets 4 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th to come back and win that one 8-6. And then with Jacksonville up 5-2, Western scored 10 unanswered runs, Terry, in Game 2 to get a split of the double dip.
And JU, I guess, playing a traditional baseball game just out the window. Even though Game 1 ended up 8-6, you would think traditional. Oh, by the way, they were down 6-1. JU playing either behind in a big deficit or giving up, as you see in Game 2, just a huge amount of runs.
Talked about that earlier. Last weekend against Southwestern Louisiana, Dolphins down
7 love.
Yeah, 7 love lead after 2 innings, and they come back to win that one. That's right. Top of the second is the bottom third of the order for the toppers. T.J. Freeman, Scott Flynn, Dan Kreis, numbers 7, 8, and 9. Freeman hits the first pitch into right field for a base hit. Not bashful.
First pitch base hit. And I was getting ready to say, Barry, that if you're Wade Taylor, the JU pitcher, these are the guys, the bottom of the order you need to get. You look at the top of the order for Western Kentucky. They're all hitting 3-something. Just a good piece of hitting. Ball inside a little bit. He turns on it. Freeman does, and leads off. Taylor back in trouble again.
Second consecutive inning that Western has led off with a base hit. So Scott Flynn, the second baseman, comes up now. Flynn 1 for 6 in the doubleheader yesterday. Takes a breaking ball and lifts it out of play for strike 1. Taylor obviously trying to get that first strike in there. And you see Western, they're not being bashful up there, swinging it, doing some first pitch swinging. I like the strategy. Scott Flynn hitting .250, has a homer, 18 runs batted in on the season. 0-1 pitch, blocked. And Roney gets out there quickly. Good job to keep that ball in front of him, not allowing T.J. Freeman to advance.
Good job, no doubt. You see, Roney reads it to where catching the ball is second and third there. Keeping the ball in front, keeping the runner out of scoring position is his #1 goal right there. Speaking of Taylor getting a start, 5 of the first 7 batters has been 0-1, so Taylor's doing his job in terms of getting ahead.
There's a rip into left. Coming on is Nuneri to snare that line drive. He throws it all the way through to first. Could have been a dangerous play as T.J. Freeman played it about a third of the way down to second base, but that a hard hit line drive, but right at Talmadge Nuneri.
I've got a question Nuneri though on the throw. He makes a great jump on a hard.
Their understanding that they were going to get the last crack at Shaquille. It did not work out that way. He met with Jerry West last night and Leonard Armato, the agent. The deal got done about 2 in the morning. Armato said today he has not talked to John Gabriel personally. The Magic say all they got was a voice.
Eric Wood, who made a nice play on the 1 hopper. So T.J. Freeman at first.
Tapped out. They can't.
hitting .224 and lifts this one deep into right center field. On his horse is Joe Samples, who made a terrific backhand play deep in the gap in right center field to retire Dan Grice.
We talked about Samples in the first inning, might not getting a good jump. I'm not so sure Samples took a great angle on this ball. He kind of went over and then back. Good speed, though. Samples was able to run the ball down. Ball ended up drifting further than I thought.
You're right, Terry. I tell you, the outstanding speed of Joe Samples allows him to play a little more shallow. And some other center fielders. 2 down now, back at the top of the order for Chad Chavala, the center fielder for Western, who singled and scored the first run of the game. Takes a breaking ball, strike 1.
Tell you one thing Wade Taylor does, he's around the plate. Again, he may be around too much and throw too nice of a strike, but he's around the plate consistently.
Chavala with some pop at the top of the order as well. And has done, he likes to do that little Ricky Henderson thing. He likes that leadoff home run.
Nothing wrong with that.
Done that several times this year. 2 out, and the 0-1 breaking ball again. Bates him, but that drops down and away. So the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. You see Taylor with that hook that drops down and away. Sometimes, as you see there, it can cost the Dolphins. Runner aboard, 2 down. Breaking ball hit through the right side of the infield once again. They will certainly not test Jason Hamilton, maybe the best arm in right field in the Sun Belt Conference. So Chavala 2 for 2 on the day. And moves T.J. Freeman out to second with a 2-out base hit.
As you'll see here, the pitch was on the outside part of the plate. Just a fundamentally sound piece of hitting by Chavala. Lets the bat and the pitch do the work. And he's on first base. He's set the table for the potential of a 2-out rally here. I like those guys that go opposite field, Barry. I was kind of an opposite field kind of guy. Mine was more, I couldn't get the bat speed to generate turning on it. But
you just swung late.
Sure, exactly.
2 on, 2 out for Matt Idlett, the left fielder for Western, who reached on an error his first time up. Hit a little tough ground ball down to Todd Greger into first. So Matt with an RBI opportunity here with 2 down. And the Toppers up by 1. Here's the 1-0. Came in tight and hit him. That will load the bases as Matt Idlett has reached on his first 2 plate appearances, but hadn't got a hit yet, but that's okay. He'll take it.
If you're Doug Corver, the pitching coach for JU, you're in the dugout right now just pulling your hair out. You start the inning with the 7, 8, 9 batters. And oh, by the way, the 1 through 6 batters for Western, they're all hitting 300 and 3,000 maybe, it seems like. And
yeah.
What do? You give up a hit by pitch to load them.
Bases full of Toppers now for Shannon McKenzie. Sacrificed his first time up. This big guy will be swinging away here. He's got the average to do it as a rising fastball goes up and in. On McKenzie, it's 1 ball, no strikes. McKenzie hitting .360, number 2 on the team. 6 homers. That ties him for second on the club. 36 runs batted in. That's third. That one catches the inside corner for strike 1.
Interesting that Taylor is throwing out of the stretch, bases loaded with 2 outs. He must feel, a lot of times it's the pitcher's call. Sometimes the speed of the runners will dictate, but a lot of times it's the pitcher's call, whatever he feels most comfortable doing.
Here's the 1-1 to McKenzie. Breaking ball. That's a good one. Swing and a miss. And now Taylor up in the count again. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Not that you ever want to pitch out of jams, but there are times where defensively and as a pitcher, that can be the best thing to start your offense. You pitch, work out of a jam and go in the dugout and say, guys, I'm here for the day. Give me a little run support.
And the 1-2. Breaking ball again. Hit high in the air and deep to right, and it's off the wall. 2 runs are in. 3 runs will score. A 2-out, 3-run double has given Western Kentucky a 4-0 lead here in the second inning.
again, I will reference JU pitching coach Doug Corbett. 3 letters may be running through his mind right now. HBP, hit by pitch. You hate to predict, but you'd rather have a chance to get the guy, the batter, instead of hit him. And then, of course, McKenzie, as you see, the ball obviously is carrying today well. That ball, didn't think it was going to carry to the base of the wall as it did, but it just kept going and clears the bases for the Hilltoppers.
Boy, after 2 outs, Toppers get a hit, get hit, and now McKenzie comes up with a huge double. 39 runs batted in now for McKenzie on the season. And they're not out of it yet. As Josh Patton comes up, Patton singled and drove in Chavala for the first run of the game. McKenzie, incidentally, now has a dozen doubles on the year as well. And hits this one hard and through. Hamilton up with it. They're going to have a play at the plate. One hopper, and he's safe. He slid under the tag of Chad Roney. It was an excellent throw by Hamilton, but a good, solid slide by Shannon McKenzie gives the Hilltoppers another run, and it's now 5-1 Western.
Again, another good piece of hitting by Patton. Everyone does their job here. The batter, Hamilton, charges well. A little hesitation as the ball approached him. He wanted to make sure he fielded it and gave himself a chance. Makes a nice, strong throw, but just not in time. McKenzie slides in just ahead of the tag of Roney.
Well, maybe just a little bit to the right of the dish. A bang-bang play, though, and it goes the way of Western. It's 5-0 Toppers. Breaking ball, outside corner, strike one, greets C.J. Martin, the right fielder who grounded out his first time up. Toppers with 1 in the first, now 4 here in the second, all coming with 2 outs. There's a rip on a hanging breaking ball, and C.J. Martin gets into the hit column for the day. Another 2-out hit for the Toppers.
Little 5-hit inning right now for the Toppers working. Just a good piece. That's the kind of swing you have when you enter the game hitting 387. Martin, a solid, compact swing, and the 2-out rally continues for the Hilltoppers.
Shortstop Zach Osbeck now, and the third Zach or Todd Greger going to come over as some action has started in the Jacksonville University bullpen. It is Scott Porter.
Looks like it's Scott Stevens actually in the Dolphins, the left-hander now in the Dolphins pen.
A bit of a shell-shocked Wade Taylor now, as we're going to get the visit to the Hill, as pitching coach Doug Corbett going to come out now and visit Taylor.
Again, Barry, I hate to harp on it. The inning starts with the 7, 8, 9 batters. And with the heavy hitting the Hilltoppers at the top of the lineup, boy, if you're Wade Taylor, the JU pitcher, you've got to take advantage of the inning to where the 7, 8, and 9 batters are leading off the inning.
So Stevens, the junior lefty, up and throwing, and Doug Corbett now calling out for the Jacksonville University trainer.
Not sure what's going on here, Barry, in terms of a potential injury.
Well, we told you.
He's had a little tender elbow, and they're going right for the elbow.
Exactly right. He's had that tender elbow here, and this is one of 2 things. The elbow has gotten tender, or Doug Corbett doing a major stall job.
Yeah, exactly.
To try to give Stevens a little more time. Stevens has gotten down there and thrown very, very quickly. I mean, you can't, force yourself to get loose.
And Dave Hammond's the JU trainer, though he immediately, now I don't know if this was pre-planned or what have you, went right for the elbow. So
and
looks like a move's going to be made. Yeah,
they're going to go for the hook. So a little 4-run, 2-out rally chases Jacksonville University starter Wade Taylor. We'll tell you about the relief when we come back. Western up 5-0.
The Wall Street Journal keeps you on the cutting edge with news and insights that can affect you personally and professionally. Subscribe now and have the Journal delivered to your home or office. Now, with your paid 10-week subscription, you'll also receive our gift of 2 weeks free. That's 12 weeks of the Journal for just 65 cents a day. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call now, 800-652-2112. That's 800-652-2112 for the Wall Street Journal.
There you see the pitching problems that Jacksonville University has experienced, allowing 9 runs a game plus over the last 4. 10 plus 11 times this year in 47 games, and a big goose egg when that has happened. 10 plus hits 23 times. We've talked about it all season long, and the Jacksonville University pitching staff, very young, and even some of the veterans have not done what was hoped from them this year. But pitcher number 2 on the day, Scott Stevens, a junior, 1-1, making his 20th appearance of the year. Terry,
I tell you, you got to ask yourself, a little tongue-in-cheek, do the Dolphins choreograph their games like this? I mean, hey, let's spot them 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, and we'll crank it up after that.
I want to tell you what, for a lot of these young men, too, it's just gut check time coming down the stretch and towards the Sun Belt Conference tournament. You know, it seems as if the Dolphin pitching staff right now is riding the back of freshman John Bird, who has come on and is pitching better and better, it seems, with each appearance. And the preseason ace, Eddie Sordo, has not been able to hold leads in his last 3 outings. So, I tell you, Doug Corbett, pitching coach, Terry Alexander, just really right now, as we head towards tournament time, looking for somebody other than Bird to step up.
I tell you, speaking of this inning, though, this half inning that will not end, what's really disheartening from a JU perspective is the bulk of the damage is done with 2 outs. I mean, McKenzie gets up, obviously has the big blast, the bases clearing double, but 2 outs and you can't finish it. No, by the way, you glance at the scoreboard, 5-0, and the inning's still going.
That's right. This inning started 8 batters and about a half hour ago. Eric Rosa, the catcher, is the 9th Hilltopper to come to the plate here in the 2nd inning. 2 men on, 2 men out. Western with 4 in already. Rosa flied out to end the 1st. And grounds this time to Duffy Grimes. Boot by Grimes. Can he recover? Yes, he does. So Duffy Grimes makes it difficult, but makes the play. Western Kentucky with 4 runs on 5 base hits, and the Toppers leave 2. We're through an inning and a half from Brest Field with Western Kentucky leading Jacksonville 5-0.
Oh, what a catch. Another grand slam for the Marlins.
The excitement continues on Sunshine.
It's going to be a great season for everybody, fans, players, and everybody watching. There's not one starting rookie on the field this year.
The Marlins win it.
Catch the Marlins all season right here on Sunshine.
Five runs on 7 hits for Western Kentucky. All of those going to Dolphin starter Wade Taylor, whose 4.53 ERA just jumped on a rocket. There you see the scouting report for JU. Dolphins coming in 22-25, 500 mark in Sun Belt Conference play. There you see, you look at the batting and pitching, T-Mac, neither number certainly where the Dolphins expected to be.
Those numbers both jump out at you from a negative standpoint. 273 in college baseball with aluminum bats. You factor that in with giving up 5 runs a game on an average. Boy, that's got under 500 written all over it.
And certainly one of the more consistent Jacksonville University players, Eric Wood, the Dolphin first baseman, hitting .304, checks in for his first at bat of the day. Facing Josh Novotny, the freshman for Western. Wood, 3 homers, 35 runs batted in to go along with that .304 average. Started 42 games this year for the Dolphins. That breaking ball a little bit high, and it's 2 balls, no strikes to count now on Wood.
Eric Wood's the kind of player, if he was drafted in the National Football League, he'd be the last player drafted, Mr. Irrelevant. I've watched him for several years now. He shows up, he plays his position, no frills. He's just always there.
And here's the 2-0. Outside, 3-0. Dolphins had one base runner in the first. Talmadge Neri got a single and advanced to second on a balk by Novotny, and that was it. Here's the 3-0. Fastball, strike one on the outside corner.
Novotny wants anything but a walk, obviously, here. His team just staked him to a 5-run lead. Definitely don't want to walk the first batter you face going back out to the hill.
There's the 3-1 to Wood, and it just missed. Off the outside corner, so Eric Wood draws the leadoff walk for Jacksonville University. You saw on the graphic there the streaks for JU Dolphins have 1, 2 of 3 after losing 10 of 11. You know, it was a streaky sort of start of this season for Western as well. The Toppers started it off at Louisiana State with a big ouch, losing 9-zip, 18-zip, and 18-1. After a 1-4 start, though, the Toppers won 8 straight. It seemed as if the ship was righted, but then lost 6 straight. These two teams, I guess, oddly similar and unfortunately similar. The Hilltoppers,
exactly right,
and Dolphins. Jacksonville shortstop Zach Osbeck, number 6 in the order, up for his first appearance of the day. 0-1 pitch, down and away, and it's 1-1.
Osbeck's kind of the guy that teams have. Each team has a guy, kind of the backbone. He doesn't do it with numbers. Neat story, plays second base, moves over to shortstop late in the season, and that experiment turned out pretty well for the Dolphins. Osbeck's fielded well. Not going to bring a lot of batting to the plate, but just a solid player.
Fouls that one away, and Zach behind now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Zach had a homer last weekend in the Southwestern Louisiana Series.
If I recall, that was the game I did last week, a wild game again here at Brest Field.
And that Sunday game.
That was in the middle, I think, of the 7-run rally late in the game by the Dolphins.
Exactly
They got behind just by enough where they're ready to play ball.
Yep. Eric Wood goes back over to first. Novotny with a token throw there. Osbeck hit that line drive variety over the left field wall. Here's the 1-2 to Zach. Off the fist. Is it fair? Yes, it is. Just inside the line. Down the left field way. Matt Idlett over. Makes the play, but not before that little flare single drops in. Osbeck with a base hit. Dolphins 2 on, nobody out.
Ball got inside on Osbeck a little bit. You thought he got beat on it. He got his bat speed around, but it was like his arms were tucked into his body a little bit, but it worked out. The Dolphins right now are a team in need of something like that, a chink single, a bad hop, anything right now to build.
Now here's the Dolphin designated hitter, Andy Worcester. Hit the ball hard yesterday. Had a hit in game 1. Takes a strike from Novotny.
Obviously, with your designated hitter up, the percentages and being down 5-0, the bunt him over is definitely out the window right now. Worcester's up there to hit it and hit it hard.
You see Andy's numbers. 29th game of the year for him. 7th as a starter.
Get them back right here.
Took low and away on the off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to the Dolphin DH, Andy Worcester, with 2 men on, nobody out. Bottom of the 2nd inning, and Dolphins down 5-zip. Worcester crowding that plate. Rosa sets up inside. They try and bust him inside. There's second for 1 over to first for the double play. A little 4-6-3 double play for Western Kentucky. Eric Wood moves over to third, but that is as big a rally killer as you'll ever get.
And that was an easy 4-6-3 double play as you'll ever get. All the ingredients. A nice big hop at the end for Flynn. He makes a nice feed to Grice, shortstop. A slow runner mixed in. Boy, is that a best friend.
Now Duffy Grimes, the Dolphins' second baseman, looking for his first hit of the year.
Duffy made a nice play last inning to end the inning. Had a hard shot hit at him. He stayed with it, fielded it soft, picked it up, and made a strong throw to end the inning.
Grimes 0 for 14 in limited duty thus far this season, playing in his 20th game, getting his third start of the year.
And getting that start, obviously, Ryan Diggs, the experimental second baseman who was moved from the outfield, a little banged up late in the season. Those things happen. Sometimes that bench definitely gets a test late in the year.
Here's the 1-1 to Grimes. High fastball. And Duffy swings and misses, and it's strike two.
Speaking of Duffy's swing, he's getting solidly beaten right now by the fastball. If I'm the Western Kentucky coaching staff, I look down and see no batting average, limited playing time. He has to beat me with my best stuff, my fastball right here.
1-2 the count. A man aboard, 2 out, bottom of the second. What looked to be a promising inning for Jacksonville. Now resting on the bat of Duffy Grimes.
Hit where it's pitched now. Hit it where it's pitched.
Took the fastball up and away. And here's the 2-2. Now he thought about it, but laid off. They're going to appeal to first, and Fred Scavidi says no, he didn't. So that runs the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Grimes.
Duffy, another one of those local products, played his high school ball over at Terry Parker within a Barry Milligan home run of where we sit right now.
Oh, boy, that would be a shot. But thank you very much for the thought.
Sure.
Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. And Grimes strikes out to end the second. First strikeout for Novotny. That ends the Dolphin threat here in inning number 2. 2 complete from Breastfield. Dolphins trail Western by 5.
Game, you play to win. You need CNBC's Squawk Box. How will major players move? We're inside before trading.
Marked on the New York Stock Exchange.
What are the stocks to watch? We're on top of it.
On the credit market.
Want the late-breaking moves? We're covering it.
It's a big merger between...
It's the play-by-play on CNBC's Squawk Box.
Technology stocks have led the market.
Reports and analysis before trading begins.
Brokers are scrambling.
In the investing game, you play to win. Squawk Box, weekdays on CNBC. First in business.
Along with Terry Norvell, I'm Barry Milligan with you as we move to the top of the third inning for Breastfield on the campus of Jacksonville University. Western with a run in the first, 4 in the second, up 5-0 over the Dolphins.
And Barry, you look at the numbers here, Western Kentucky, as we've alluded to, 309 batting average as a team, JU 273. So obviously, very high ERA for Western. You're going to have to score with them, obviously. It's going to be a slugfest when you face Western Kentucky. Right now, they're ahead 5-0.
Top of the third. T.J. Freeman, Scott Flint, Dan Grice, numbers 7, 8, and 9. This is where it all started back in the second as well. Freeman led off last inning with a single, eventually scored a run. Takes a fastball on the outside corner from Dolphin pitcher Scott Stevens, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Freeman started off last inning. He gets on base. Then the 8 and 9, Flynn and Grice record outs, 2 outs, but then the big damage was done by McKenzie.
Fastball popped him up over in foul territory. Todd Greger drifting over, battling the breeze, makes the play. And a solid play it was for Todd Greger. 1 up, 1 down here in the Western third. First time today that the leadoff man has been retired.
And that was a bit of, for an F5, it was a bit of a battle for Greger. You see the ball drifting, the wind playing with it, but he stays with it, kept his eye on the ball the whole way. Obviously knows his home ballpark and knew where the pitch was, and you got to believe was getting a little bit of assistance from his home dugout as well.
Getting some assistance by our
crack
technical crew over there, too.
I got to believe our tech staff over there was more saying, don't run into me, as opposed to watch the fence.
Scott Flynn hit it hard, but lined a shot right at Talmadge Nunari last inning. Comes up, lines one this time into center field. And Joe Samples, Joe is battling in center field today. That's the third time now we have seen him misread the ball off the bat.
And you're absolutely right, Barry. As a matter of fact, we cut to a shot of Samples. We missed him by a second. He's kicking the ground. He knows he did not get a good jump on the baseball. That ball was hit well. Should have been recorded as an out, though.
He was a step in front of that, and he hesitated a good 2 steps before making a break on the ball. You're right, Kerry. Joe not happy with himself. So, 1 out now, 1 aboard for Dan Grice. The shortstop for Western. Fly it out to Jason Hamilton his first time up. And Stevens goes back over to first. Keeping an eye on Scott Flynn. Flynn 4 out of 6 in the stolen base category this year. Taking a pretty good lead. Stevens to the plate with a breaking ball and a good looking one.
And Barry, you got to wonder a little bit, and you want to keep an eye on JU's middle infield with Osbeck moving over to shortstop. Duffy Grimes in his 3rd start of the season. You got to wonder how much they've worked together. They were second baseman mates, basically. Right. You got to wonder how smooth and fluid their double play combination will be.
That's right. Ryan Delacrosse, the Dolphins shortstop for much of the early season, but Ryan has been moved back out into the bullpen where he pitched fairly well for JU last season, his freshman year, and Ryan's going to be counted on to come through down the stretch here. Hit and run action. Jason Hamilton up with it and hustling back to first base is Scott Flynn, as Joel Murray, the head coach for Western, had a little something working here in the top of the 3rd. And Grice, not a bad at bat, tried to hit behind the runner and did just that, but got just under it enough to lift it out there, and Hamilton was able to make the play.
Yeah, not a bad decision by Joel Murray. A little hit and run with your 9 batter. You take the decision kind of off of the batter. The batter is told he has to swing at the baseball, and unfortunately for Grice, got the ball in the air. It didn't work out for him.
Well, once again, here we are with 2 on and 1 out. This is where the nightmare started last inning for JU, as Chad Chavala, the center fielder for Western, who looks like Superman so far in the line score, has 2 singles and 2 runs scored. Ground ball out to Osbeck, over to second, and the force retires Western in the top of the 3rd. On the Chabala fielder's choice, Western retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left. After 2.5 from JU, it's Western 5, Dolphins nothing.
Sports are in full bloom in May, and the sweet smell of excitement is on Sunshine. The boys of summer are back, and the Marlins are putting together an arrangement for success. And the college lads are in postseason form, because they're sniffing out a tourney title. Next, we'll put your rose pedal to the metal, because Prime Racing has a bouquet of speed just for you. And finally, with all this excitement, you may want to phone home for the AT&T Challenge from Atlanta. So be sure and check out what's blooming in May on Sunshine. Baseball as you've never seen it before. They're hitting, pitching, diving, throwing, sliding, scoring, cheering, all the way to Omaha. They play to win, and they play on Sunshine. Don't miss a single game all season on Sunshine.
5-0 Western Kentucky over Jacksonville in the 3rd game of this 3-game set. T-Mac, another excellent play in left by Matt Idlett to end the 3rd.
Idlett makes 2 nice plays. This play, getting to the ball generally is not the problem. It's holding on to the ball when your body makes contact with the ground. As you see, a little snow cone action. And oh, by the way, was there any doubt who leads off the inning? It's a baseball adage. You make a nice play like that, you're batting first. And you deserve
right back. That's exactly right. Scott Stevens on the hill for the Dolphins, facing Idlett, Shannon McKenzie, and Josh Patton. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 in the Western Kentucky batting order. Idlett has reached his first 2 times to the plate, but has yet to get a base hit. Reached on an error in the first and was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the second. Breaking ball from Stevens down in the dirt for ball 1.
Matter of fact, down in the dirt and gets caught up under Charlie Day, the home plate umpire's mask there.
Toppers with 8 hits so far as we move to the 4th. It's a good-looking breaking ball from Stevens, the backdoor variety.
Stevens in a position much like I referred to last Sunday's game with USL, the Dolphins and USL. Jim McKinney came in with those 5 2/3 tough innings when you're down by a big score. If your team wins, you get the accolades. If your team doesn't win, you can still throw 4 or 5 quality innings, but nobody notices it.
Changeup had Idlet out in front, and now Stevens up 1 ball and 2 strikes. Idlet, good-looking freshman out of Cincinnati, Ohio. There's a strikeout, swing and a miss by Idlet. First strikeout of the day for Dolphin pitching. For the 2nd straight inning now, JU has retired the leadoff hitter for Western.
Speaking of a pitcher's makeup, look at Stevens. This kid is nothing but arms and legs. He comes at you from all over and records the first strikeout, as you say, Barry, for the Dolphins on the day.
1 out now for Shannon McKenzie, the 6'3" senior out of Frostburg, Maryland. And he takes a strike from Stevens. McKenzie sacrificed in the first, doubled, scored a run, and drove in 3 in that 4-run Western second. Well, he thought about it, but held up, and it's 1-1.
Biggest hit of the game so far, obviously, by McKenzie in the second inning. Clears the bases, and as you say, he himself comes around to score another run for the Hilltoppers.
Hard hit ball down to Greger at third. Makes it on the 3rd hop. Nice throw over to first. 2 up, 2 down now in the Western 4th.
You have the feeling, Barry, that was going to kind of be a tweener to Greger there for a second?
Yes, I did, actually.
He might have stepped up into it a little more, but it worked out, and he recorded the out. I had those tweeners when I played them. I always seem to get a tweener.
Third sacker, Josh Patton, has been perfect so far. Singled and drove in a run in the first. Likewise in the second. Returning top RBI man on the club, had 57 a year ago and takes one right in the middle of the back from Scott Stevens.
When that just flat out gets Patton square between the numbers. About all you can do as a batter, though. You're taught to dip that lead shoulder, the shoulder face of the pitcher. You're taught to dip that in and just kind of, much like a turtle, go into a shell and just hope for the best. And, boy, that caught him square, Pat.
Just take it.
You don't have to like it, Barry, but you have to take it.
You got to take it. Todd Gibson going out to take a quick check on Josh Patton, the 2-out runner aboard, and now C.J. Martin, the right fielder, checks in.
I'm still amazed by the story of C.J. Martin. Last year, he's a pitcher, 1 at bat for the entire season.
Isn't that amazing?
You got to ask Coach Joel Murray. Joel, what are you thinking? The guy's banged out 13 dongs for you this year.
Where was he? Boy, Stevens just missed. Wanted that one. Did not get the call from home plate umpire Charlie Day, so it's 2 balls and no strikes now. 2 out. Runner aboard. Top of the 4th, and Western still with that 5-0 lead over Jacksonville. There's a rip into left field. In there for a base hit. Rounding second over to third is Patton. And into second with a stand-up double, C.J. Martin. And once again, Western Kentucky with a little 2-out rally.
Martin just all over the pitch, absolutely drives it in left field, no doubt about it. The hit by pitch, though, comes back to haunt the Dolphins.
Again.
Here we go. They're having to fend off another two-out rally.
The catcher, number 19, Eric Rosa.
Eric Rosa is 0 for 2 today. Scott Stevens trying to make it 0 for 3.
Boy, Martin's a good-looking hitter, isn't he, Barry?
Sure is. Rosa, as you see there, flied out to end the first, grounded out to end the second. He's down low. Thought they might have appealed that as Rosa checked the swing.
You talk about a catcher, you see Chad Roney there, the long season getting up on you. The heat factors in. You're having pitches bang off of you all season. All those things factor in to wear out a catcher.
Fastball on the outside corner, strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike now the count. Toppers started the inning. Matt Idlett struck out. McKenzie grounded out, but Patton was hit by a pitch, and C.J. Martin followed that up with a double. So there's another one on the black, and Stevens hitting that spot set by Chad Roney. It'll take a 2-strike, 2-out hit if the Toppers are going to score here in the fourth. Eric Rosa down in the count, 1-2. Patton at third, Martin at second. And the 1-2 pitch. Pulled the string a little bit outside, and that evens it up 2-2.
You mentioned Josh Patton on third base, having been hit by the pitch. It's one of those situations as a ball player, if you end up scoring, it doesn't hurt that bad. If you don't score, man, I took it right on the spine for that.
You may even rub it on the way over. 2-2. Outside again.
Where did that old adage, a baseball player can't rub it when they get hit? It's the craziest thing I ever heard.
I don't know. Is that just a measure of toughness?
I'm not tough, and when I played, I wasn't tough, and everybody knew it. So I rubbed it.
Go ahead and rub it.
Yeah.
Rosa backs out, takes time. The count run full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out and 2 aboard here in the Western Kentucky fourth. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Stevens gets Rosa to strike out. Toppers don't get a run. They do get a base hit and leave 2. After 3.5, it's Western 5. Dolphins nothing.
On the track and in the pit, the top drivers in the fastest cars prepare for the world's greatest race. Countdown to Indy beginning Monday on Sunshine.
Fourth live on pay-per-view. A 4-fight night that's dynamite. Mexican sensation Marco Antonio Barrera battles Jesse Benavidez for the WBO junior featherweight title. Mark Johnson dukes it out with Francisco Tejedor for the IBF flyweight championship. And see great warriors like Jorge Paez, Combates Explosivos.
Are hot and the pitch is fast. Catch all the action in the ACC as they blaze a trail to Omaha. North Carolina and Duke, Sunday at 7, live on Sunshine.
We'll go to the home half of the fourth inning. Dolphins will have Chad Roney, Eric Wood, and Zach Osbeck to face Josh Novotny. And Dolphins have had midweek games against, third-ranked Florida, 5th-ranked Florida State. Why not a little weekend series against the 8th-ranked Hurricanes of the University of Miami? They will do that, and we will have it for you. Friday and Saturday, May 10th and 11th, Jim Morris's Canes will come a-calling here in Jacksonville. Both those games live at 7 o'clock right here on Continental Cable Channel 25, the Friday and Saturday games. And likewise, the Sunday game will be seen on Sunshine Network here from Pressfield. So you'll have an opportunity to catch all three of those Dolphin games on the airways against Jim Morris's Hurricanes.
And why not? Right in the middle of your Sun Belt tournament chase. Mix in 3 with Miami and 1 with Florida just for good.
Sure. What the heck? TA said we'll play them all. Play them all. Roney takes a breaking ball strike from Novotny to start off the top of the 4th inning. Chad grounded out his first time up to end the first. There's a fastball hit off the fist into shallow center field. Drifting back is the second baseman, Scott Flynn, and he makes the play for out number 1.
I like the way Flynn played. That looks like a routine fly ball. Kind of in no man's land. What Flynn does, and it shows when he's played a lot of second base, he reads the ball off the bat, runs to a spot, gets there, finds the baseball, makes the catch.
And once again, T-Mac, Dolphins don't get that leadoff guy on 3 of the 4 innings now. Novotny has been able to retire the leadoff man. Dolphins just very passive right now. You know, not showing the aggressiveness up there that I know Terry Alexander would have wanted in this 3rd game of the series. Good-looking breaking ball there to Eric Wood is over for a strike. Eric Wood with 11 2-hit games this year and a couple of 3-hit games. It's a soft grounder that is not handled cleanly by Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I lawed Flynn a moment ago, and he may have rushed a little bit here. Knowing the runner, Eric Wood, does not run real well. It's not going to fly down the line. Flynn may have had a little more time than he thought, and didn't quite get the glove down, as you can see. Had his head down, didn't quite get the glove down, though, and Wood reaches on the error.
And that's exactly right. Terry is an error on Scott Flynn, his 7th of the year. Dolphins will take the base runner any way they can get it. Zach Osbeck up for his 2nd appearance. Zach singled his first time up. One of the 3 Dolphin hits so far. Fastball strike. Hitting coach Rusty Green manning the 3rd base duties today for Jacksonville. Johnny Wiggs, who will be the Dolphin pitching coach next season, out at first. Strike 2. Inside corner. Osbeck takes another look at a strike.
Zach. Nice pitch by Novotny there.
Pitch, buddy, that one there. Now you're in a hole.
One on, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th. And the 0-2 pitch to Osbeck. Fastball, and Zach gets around on it in time to foul it back and stays alive. No balls, 2 strikes.
That 0-2 pitch a little too, caught too much of the play there, didn't it, Barry? His theory there, obviously, you could tell by the location, he wanted it up and out, and it was middle and out. It could have been trouble.
Yeah. Here's the 0-2 again. Breaking ball just missed.
Now that's a nice 0-2 pitch.
Had a little sharp hook on that right at the end, too.
Boy, us announcer types are critical, aren't we?
Well, I think Osbeck did a heck of a job holding off. If I'm looking at that pitch, I'm making my way to the Dolphins dugout right now. Here's the 1-2 breaking ball, hit hard, and foul down the left side. So Zach hanging tough after falling behind 0-2.
Some would say, having looked at any pitch, you would be making your way back to the dugout. I wouldn't say that.
I wish you hadn't.
I wouldn't say that because I like you, Barry Milligan. Hey, I've struck out enough times on this very field to pop off about strikeouts.
Speaking of popping off, Sports Information Director Rich Page had to lend his affirmation to that last comment. Here's the 1-2 to Osbeck. Fastball that's hit in the air and foul and drifts out of play. So Zach with a couple of foul balls. Still battling up at the plate there. Zach, pre-med major here at Jacksonville University. One of 13 scholar athletes on Terry Alexander's staff. And TA awfully proud of the overall GPA of this baseball team.
Novotny, the Western Kentucky pitcher's pitch count starting to get up a little bit. That was his 65th pitch to this point in the ball game. Something to keep an eye on for later.
Zach backs out again as Novotny taking his time out on the hill now. 1 on, 1 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Osbeck. Breaking ball again, got it. Worked him inside, came back outside. That's a super pitch from Josh Novotny, his 2nd strikeout of the game.
Absolute terrific location of this breaking ball. A lot, and you mentioned it, Barry, he's got a lot of late snap on his breaking ball. You know, it's not one of those that's moving from his release. It's making its break the last 4 or 5 feet as it approaches home plate. Nice pitch.
And for Novotny, I tell you, he has had 7 strikeouts now, 5 yesterday and 4 2/3 of relief and 2 so far today. He has an uncanny ability to freeze the runners with his strikeouts. You know, he likes to use that hard snap that we talked about on the breaking ball for his out pitch on the 2-strike pitch, and gets a lot of guys looking at that 3rd strike. Andy Worster, the big guy for JU in the designated hitter role today. Hit into a double play his first time up. Andy 0 for 1. Hit the ball hard a couple of times yesterday. Had 1 base hit. Just laced one right at the right fielder, C.J. Martin, with the bases loaded. That ended the Dolphins' 7th inning yesterday. That was in game 1. JU got 4 in the 7th. Came back with 3 runs in the 8th to take game 1 in the come-from-behind fashion, 8-6 over Western. But the Dolphins' Eddie Sordo could not hold a 5-2 lead in the 2nd. Western scored 10 unanswered to get a split of the doubleheader. Worster rips one again, driving Martin back, and he makes the play. Good, solid defensive play by C.J. Martin ends the Dolphin 4th. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and the Dolphins leave 1. We're through 4 complete. Dolphins trailing the Toppers 5-zip.
Join Crime Olympic Odyssey on the journey that leads to the Olympic Games. Today, these athletes are striving to reach their ultimate goal, hoping tomorrow they become America's Olympic heroes.
U.S. Wrestling Nationals, Monday at noon on Sunshine.
Terry Norvell and Barry Milligan with you from Brest Field on the Jacksonville University campus. Dolphins, no runs, 3 hits, and an error. Western Kentucky 5-9-1. Toppers got 1 in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd, and have staked themselves and Josh Novotny to the 5-run lead as we move to the top of the 5th inning. What is it with this bottom third of the order?
I was going to say, and you're going to cut me off, but I was going to say, will you allow me to deem T.J. Freeman the 7-hole DH, Mr. Leadoff?
Mr. Leadoff. We call T.J. Freeman for the 3rd time in 5 innings. Western will have numbers 7, 8, and 9. And Freeman swings and misses at a Scott Stevens breaking ball. T.J. 1 for 2 today. Singled and scored in the 2nd. Hit a little foul ball pop out to Todd Gregor's last time up. There's a good-looking fastball from Stevens. Just freezes that lefty, and it's 0-2.
Don't look now, but Stevens throwing a few goose eggs on the board for the Dolphins, needing some run support, though.
Here's the 0-2. Works some fastball up and away, trying to bait Freeman, who would not bite, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Comes back, breaking ball, little chopper. That's just foul down the right side.
T.J. Freeman, the DH for Western today, pulls a little double duty. He's had 8 appearances as a pitcher, 1-1 record, so does a lot. You know, I was going to mention last half inning, C.J. Martin, the terrific hitter for Western Kentucky, was a pitcher last year, 1 at bat. It's a great problem to have. A former pitcher hitting .387 entering the game. What that also does, though, that makes 10 or so other guys start yapping. 10 other pitchers say, "Hey, coach, I'm another C.J. Martin here. Give me a bat."
That's right. T.J. Freeman, one of the freshmen on this roster, a local product out of Bowling Green High School. It's a hard two-hopper. That's fielded by Duffy Grimes. And for the third consecutive inning, Dolphins are able to retire the Western Kentucky leadoff man.
Duffy Grimes, you see there, has accounted very well for himself today at second base. Had a couple of difficult chances in only his third start. Playing pretty well in the field. He's struggling at the plate, but playing pretty well in the field.
Scott Flynn, now the second sacker up again for Western. Lined out in the second inning to Naneri and singled in the third. 1 for 2 today. Good looking breaking ball from Stevens for strike one. That's what you want. Scott Stevens, get your guy out there throwing strikes.
32 total pitches, 20 strikes. So Stevens doing the job as he had to entering the game down 5-0.
Bouncing ball once again to Grimes. Once again, 4-3. And Flynn is retired.
Duffy Grimes show as we speak right now.
This would be the Grimes segment of today's game.
He stayed down. Speaking of short hopping, that ball had potential to get under Duffy there, but he stayed with it and made another nice play.
2 up, 2 down now for the shortstop, Dan Grice. A couple of flyouts today for Danny. 1 to center and 1 to right. Boy, Stevens, you gotta like what he's showing you right here in the middle innings, doing everything expected of him.
Scott Stevens may just retire this batter and run in and get it back. He can round up a few runs as well.
Here's the 0-1. Came right back with a breaking ball that Grice barely got a piece of. So Stevens now ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
I've said it before. Middle relief is a thankless job anyway. Middle relief, when you come in the game down a big number, is a very thankless job unless your offense can do something to turn the entire complexion of the baseball game.
Here's the 0-2 to Grice. He comes up with a fastball. It's high and away. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 men out, top of the 5th. Western up 5-0 over the Dolphins. 1-2 fastball. That is fouled out of play down the right side. Eric Wood gives it a glance. And Grice will reset.
Absolute beautiful day for baseball weekend here on the First Coast. Makes you want to grab a bat, Barry. Makes you want to grab a bat, Barry.
Makes me want to grab a beverage, Terry. Dan Grice with a 2-out base hit for Western Kentucky here in the 5th. Boy, Western, they don't ever go easily. All their runs in the second were scored with 2 outs. Last inning, after 2 outs, they get a hit batsman and a double and leave runners at second and third. Dan Grice with a hard hit ball there.
And you see, he got a little tied up, but he managed to get the fat part of the aluminum bat on the baseball. Got a little tied up. His swing got in on him a little bit, but he put the fat part of the bat on the baseball and single right up the middle.
The 10th hit now for Western Kentucky on the day.
I believe if you check the Western Kentucky Hilltopper manual, they cannot be retired 1, 2, 3. It's just kind of a written amendment.
Not in Joe Murray's game plan. Ever. Chad Chabala, who was retired last time up for the first time today. Up again for the Toppers.
Sit down now. Be smart out
Chabala
there.
with a couple of singles. 2 runs scored. Hit into a fielder's choice to end the 3rd. He is 2 out of 3 today, and Chabala having a good series. He was 1 for 3 with a couple of runs scored in game 1, 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored in the second game of yesterday's doubleheader. Fastball that is fouled back. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count to Chabala.
Chabala, one of those guys also that always seems to be up to bat. Looks like every inning he comes up to bat, and good hitters are like that.
Chabala, one of a pack of seniors. I tell you, they got a lot of freshmen that are contributing off this ball club. Not that many of the elder players, McKenzie, Martin, and Chabala, the 3 guys, the 3 seniors, that is, who really do contribute most. Stevens pulled the string a little bit as Chavala showed bunt, pulled it back. That pitch goes down to the dirt in the count now. 3 balls and 1 strike on Chavala. This is not a guy you want to lose.
Oh, definitely not with Idlet, McKenzie, Patton, and Martin just hanging around the bat rack right now.
Lost him. On the base on balls. Dan Grice moves down to second. Chavala out to first. That's the first walk that Scott Stevens has allowed since coming on in relief of Wade Taylor.
Brings up Matt Idlet, who struck out his last at bat. But I'll tell you that those first, and I keep harping on those first 6 hitters in the order for Western Kentucky, big averages next to all their names.
Matt Idlet struck out his last time up. Checks in here with an RBI opportunity. Grice at second. Chavala at first. Off-speed pitch, up and away. Ball 1.
Maybe a little inexperienced by Zach Osbeck, shortstop, and also Scott Stevens having not worked with Osbeck. Osbeck got caught in no man's land. He was covering second when the pitch was delivered, which created a large hole in the infield.
You saw Stevens back off to and look over to Osbeck, who sent him a series of signals.
That was the "don't do that again" signal.
Yes, it was. What are you trying to do?
There it is.
Fly ball to right. Hamilton underneath it and makes the play for out number 3. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 men left in the Western Kentucky 5th. After 4.5, it's Toppers 5, Dolphins nothing.
For many kids, growing up can be tough. That's why Nike and the NHL are taking hockey to the streets. In NHL cities all over North America, Nike NHL Street offers thousands of kids the chance to learn how to play the game, how to work together, and how to have fun, all in a safe environment. To get more information on Nike NHL Street, call 1-800-929-PLAY. Well, while Terry Norvell and I are in the press box here at Bressfield, somebody is sailing the St. Johns River.
Did they clear that with us,
right
Barry?
Behind us.
Did they run that by us?
I think our director, Mike Harper, has given the go-ahead to Dave Reed to be out of the booth and on the boat.
I put my money. I think it's Harper. I think Harper's got the truck on autopilot. I think that's Harper out there.
It could be. It certainly could be. Well, a gorgeous day on the water and on the field so far for this young man, Josh Novotny, and his Western Kentucky Hilltoppers having it their own way against Jacksonville University. It's 5-0 as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Duffy Grimes leads it off with a soft fly ball that is fielded by Idlet in left, and the first batter is retired here in the Dolphin 5th.
Well, you feel a little bit for Duffy Grimes. Limited playing time and just cannot get that first hit. And, boy, it's a heavy weight on those shoulders right now. At least he goes up aggressive, though. He goes up swinging.
He was swinging. Duff now 0 for 16 on the season.
You got to wonder also with the personality of the game, if that may not be his last at-bat. You really, even though we're in the 5th inning, outs and runs are becoming a premium.
Another hard hit ball, and this one will fall in for a base hit off the bat of Todd Greger. That brings the fans to life here at Bressfield. First Dolphin hit since the Hamilton double back in the 3rd inning.
Bottom of the Dolphin order comes up swinging. Greger picks one out, liked what he saw, and drove it right up the middle for a single.
Tell you, too, Terry, you never know in that half inning. Obviously, Rusty Green and Terry Alexander are not passive coaches.
No, not
they
at
say,
all.
Look, boys, you can't get hits if you don't swing the bat. If you see something
Great
you think
philosophy.
you can hit, yeah, take a whack at it. We're down 5-0 here. Top of the order now for Joe Samples, who hit the ball on a rope. A hard hit line shot that drove Matt Idlet almost to the warning track his last time up in the 3rd. And Joe grounded out to start the game for Jacksonville, so he's 0 for 2 thus far today. Breaking ball and a good one. 1 ball, 1 strike now to count the Samples.
And about JU coming in this half inning swinging the bat, Josh Novotny, the previous inning, showed a little vulnerability, threw a lot of pitches. So it may be a good time right now for JU to just kind of go up swinging and see what happens instead of going down passive, as you said, Barry.
Greger chased back over to first. Gregor has stolen a base this year. Samples, the guy at the plate, though. Boy, he has been such a wonderful surprise for the Dolphins this year. You know, they expected him to battle for a job. Not only has he done that, he won it the first week of the season and has never looked back. Samples leads the team in multiple hit games, has 14 two-hit games this year. Also has a 4-hit game to his credit. It's a bouncing ball, just foul. Just to the right of the first sack as Shannon McKenzie took a long look at that one. That would have been trouble indeed.
Got a partial here, Barry, from Sunbelt action elsewhere. Southwestern Louisiana leads Arkansas State 5-1, top of the 4th right now, keeping you abreast on the battle for the Sunbelt Conference.
Novotny has thrown 74 pitches thus far. Breaking ball to Samples in off the fist. Joe fights it off.
That was an odd swing, pitch and swing there. Gets beat, and then the ball gets in on his hands, but he also turns on it, which you don't have a lot. When you get beat inside, a lot of times you don't get turned on the ball. I'd be curious to ask Joe what he's picking up or not picking up when he's in center field. He's had a couple late breaks on batted balls hit to him, and this is his home ballpark.
There's the 1-2. Breaking ball way up high. And the count even now on Samples. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. And Dolphins trying to get that first run across that would perhaps spark this offense, which has been very quiet so far. 2-2 pitch. Lifted into short left field. Coming on is Idlet, and he makes the play the basket catch fashion. So Samples retired on the short pop. Gregor hustles back to first. 2 down now in the Dolphin 5th.
The wind definitely wreaking havoc everywhere, as Milligan and Norvell had to show some quick hands on a little gust of wind that just blew through here. I can imagine what that baseball must have looked like to Matt Idlet out in left field. And the official scoring, neither one of us made an error on that, by the way.
That's right. Little glove save.
You bobbled, though. Honesty compels me to report that you bobbled. I fielded mine cleanly.
2 outs for Jason Hamilton, who has a double to his credit today. Jason 1 for 2. Down and away with the first pitch for ball 1. Gregor, who singled, is at first. A couple of flyouts to Matt Idlet, accounting for the 2 Dolphin outs of the inning. And Hamilton trying to keep it alive. Breaking ball, strike 1.
Got to wonder at what point, though, a little gut check doesn't go on in that JU dugout. Who's going to step up with 2 outs regardless and get a big hit? Who's going to string a couple hits together with 2 outs and to see if they can't put the Dolphins back in the ball game?
Now, this is where you'd love to have it happen. Hamilton, Neri, and Roney. Did he pull it back in time? Yes, he did. Charlie Day says, no, you didn't go. And it's ball 2 on the fastball that ran in tight on Hamilton. Showed bunt with Josh Patton playing deep in the hole at third. Patton gonna step it in a couple of strides now. Down the third base side. Neri, as I mentioned, with a hit today and 2 trips, would be next. Here's the 2-1 to Hamilton, down and away. Now 3 balls and 1 strike to count. No, there is some action in the Western Kentucky bullpen. That is Joe Pennertz, a big junior lefty who is up and throwing now, as Novotny starting to get way up in the pitch count.
You mentioned Pennertz in the Hilltopper bullpen. The big guy, 6'4", 210, doesn't qualify as large. Come on.
Here's the 3-1 to Hamilton. He had the green light, got a fastball, and that was very well located.
80 pitches now for the right-hander. on the mound for Western Kentucky. Factor in a little bit of heat, Barry, and JU may have something cooking here in these next inning or two.
Runner aboard, 2 outs. The count 3-2 on the Dolphin right fielder, Jason Hamilton. Novotny being much more deliberate here in the last couple of innings as that pitch count rises. Runner going, and time was called before the pitch. Charlie Day lifting his arm saying no pitch. Time was called.
Couldn't quite tell if that was batter induced or at times an umpire will for one reason or another step off and want to regroup himself. Charlie Day's been doing it for a lot of years in this area.
Sure has.
He's rung me up a few dozen times when I played ball.
Now baseball comes out of the Western Kentucky bullpen, and time is called once again. Fred Scafidi with the assist there. Do a little housekeeping. As we get back to action, Hamilton steps back in. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 men out. Bottom of the 5th inning of a 5-0 Western Kentucky ball game. Payoff pitch with a runner going. Fastball missed outside. So Gregor out to second. Hamilton at first with the walk. That's only the second walk of the day allowed by Novotny, but it comes at a relatively critical time now as we hit the mid-innings, when Novotny obviously tiring. He's gone 4 2/3 today. He went 4 2/3 yesterday,
which I found very odd. I mean, a guy come in and go 2/3 of an inning, maybe 1 inning the day before, gets the ball to run out. Novotny goes 4+, gets the ball and goes out.
Allowed only 2 hits and 5 strikeouts in that relief appearance yesterday. Has allowed 4 hits through 4 2/3 today. Breaking ball. Good job by Eric Rosa to corral that one, and Rosa once again going to come out and visit with Novotny.
Here's a situation where Nanari, we were talking about gut checks and time for somebody to grab a bat and just flat out go get a hit. Nanari, the best hitter on the team, 2 outs, yes, but he's got a couple runners on base at first and second. It's time for somebody in that JU dugout, and Nanari is the perfect candidate to make something happen.
Yes, he is. Talmadge Nanari, the man at the plate. 1 for 2 today, singled in the first, flied out in the third, but this is the man right now for the Dolphins. Nanari hits it hard and deep into center field, but that ball looks like it hits a wall with that wind blowing in. Hard hit ball by Nanari, but the Dolphins come up empty once again. No runs on 1 base hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We're through 5 complete with Western Kentucky leading Jacksonville 5-0. Welcome back once again, everyone, to Bress Field on the Jacksonville University campus. Along with Terry Norvell, I'm Barry Milligan. 5 runs, 10 hits, and an error for the Toppers. 0, 4, and 1 for the Dolphins. Here you see so far Western Kentucky, all 4 runs in that 4-run second, coming with 2 outs. Dolphins, Terry, have had their opportunities we talked about. They just haven't been able to get that big hit to follow, getting men on base.
They certainly have had an opportunity, and you hate for them, JU, to be wasting Scott Stevens' terrific job of middle relief. You look at the scoreboard, 5 runs, 10 hits, all 5 runs, and 7 of the 10 hits come in the first 2 innings. So they've been shut down, the Hilltoppers have, by Scott Stevens.
See what Stevens can do with Shannon McKenzie, Josh Patton, and C.J. Martin. The scheduled batters here in the top of the 6 for Western. Numbers 3, 4, and 5 in the order. McKenzie had a sacrifice, big 3-run double in the second. Grounded out his last time up. Takes a big whack at the off-speed pitch and barely gets a piece of it. No balls and 2 strikes now. The count on McKenzie.
With a name like Shannon McKenzie, doesn't he have to sport some green somewhere? Doesn't he need a little green just somewhere?
He's got to have it. Although we can't see it, so I don't want to know where.
Easy.
The 0-2 must be a favorite of Matt Kilcullen, too, the basketball coach, right?
Sure. Very nice tie-in there, Barry Milligan. Former Jacksonville University basketball coach, by the way.
One of those seniors we were talking about, McKenzie. Made only 5 errors all of last season. Stevens working the outside part of the plate. McKenzie got a piece of it. Stays alive. The count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. McKenzie, the leadoff man here in the top of the 6th inning. It has been all goose eggs on the scoreboard, as Terry mentioned, since Western got a run in the first and put that 4th spot on the board in the second. 1-2 to McKenzie. Ran a fastball in on him just a little bit high.
Let's take a look at this, Barry. You say a little high. Not a bad pitch. I guess it was a little high, though, but a good job of framing. Now, you know, a catcher has does more than just catch the ball. He receives it and presents it to the umpire. Ernie does a nice job there.
Off-speed pitch again, outside corner. Osbeck fields it and makes the play. Over to Eric Wood. Once again, the leadoff man retired by the Dolphins, this time in the 6th inning, 6-3.
Take a look at Zach Osbeck there, the shortstop for JU, the new shortstop, and that's exactly what the JU coaching staff wants Osbeck to give the Dolphin defense. They're not asking him to make a sensational play, but make the basic routine play that comes to you and only give your opponent 3 outs in an inning.
4 innings in a row. Terry, you know, everything happened when Western got that leadoff guy on. Scored in the first, scored in the second. Now 4 innings in a row. Dolphins have retired that first batter. Josh Patton has reached base all 3 plate appearances. Single, drove in a run in the first and second innings. Was hit by a pitch and got as far as 3rd base in the 4th. Rips one that is hooking just foul, and I mean just foul down the right field line. Josh Patton just missing extra bases.
Well, he guessed right and turned on that, and that was fouled by maybe a foot. That ball was really spanked right there. You see that terrific extension. Got every bit of that ball. Just foul.
So it goes as a strike. Pretty exciting strike.
Patton's thinking, I'm going to hit that ball hard because you hit me in the back hard my last at bat. Fair is fair, pal.
Take that, Scotty. Here's the 1-1. Down low. 2 balls and 1 strike now. On Josh Patton. Patton out of Okeana, Illinois. Or Ohio, I mean. I got the Okeana right, missed the state.
Wow.
Wow, how about that? That's 1 for 2. And I got the tough one. Hit that hard one. Swung and missed on the easy one. There's a swing and a hard hit for the Ohioan, Josh Patton, the 11th hit of the day for Western Kentucky.
You just kind of have a feeling after that at bat that, or during that at bat, that Patton gets him a base hit. He was all over it. From the foul ball to the base hit, right there, he registered up the middle. How did you mess the state up?
I don't know.
With a name like Okeana, a city name like Okeana, you mess up Ohio.
Hey, I never liked Ohio anyway. C.J. Martin, the batter, now the right fielder for Western, swing and a miss. And strike 1.
That tells me your next job will probably be offered from the Cincinnati Reds or Cleveland Cavaliers or something. And you're on record now as saying you don't like Ohio.
Cincinnati Reds or the Cleveland Cavs, that's the only way I'd leave Jacksonville for Ohio. I'll promise you. Martin a couple of hits today, a single and a double. Hard hit ball to Gregor, go to second for one, over to first, and not in time to get C.J. Martin. Nice turn by Duffy Grimes. The throw just a little bit late.
As you'll see here, that was actually a really nice play by third baseman Todd Gregory. He kind of got caught in between, stayed in front of the ball, picked it up, and makes a nice strong throw. He kind of righted himself, and it took an extra second or two, but he made sure he got one out. Not a bad pivot, though, by Duffy Grimes, the little-used second baseman for JU.
2 down now for Eric Rosa. Hilltoppers have sent at least one over the minimum to the plate in every inning today. They had the hit and run going there. They had started C.J. Martin. You may have heard the displeasure of Eric Rosa over our crowd mic at his inability to get the ball in play.
He gave out a hearty hi-ho darn.
Yes, he did.
Darn it. Speaking of C.J. Martin, though, what a great season he's had. Comes into the game hitting .387, 13 home runs. Not a blazer, but 11 of 12 in the stolen base category. So he picks his times well, it looks like.
0-1 pitch, lifted down the right field line and just foul again. So Rosa,
Come on, Scott, out in front now.
like Patton 2 batters before, robbed of extra bases. And he will take his place in the batter's box once again, this time with the count 0-2.
And that would be catcher Eric Rosa.
Rosa.
No. Let me get it in now.
Little toss over to first by Scott Stevens. Chases C.J. Martin back. 0-2 the count, 2 men out. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Western Kentucky, 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and they've made it stand. That fastball, little one-hopper that is smothered by Chad Roney. Good job by Roney.
.62 total pitches to this point for Scott Stevens, who's done a yeoman's job of early to middle relief for the Dolphins.
Came on with 2 down in the 2nd inning. Runner going again, swing and a miss and a strikeout. The second strikeout by Eric Rosa. This one ends the 6th inning. 1 hit, 1 man left for Western in the 6th. No runs to show for it, though, and after 5.5, Toppers 5, Dolphins nothing.
Article 1. Future generations have a right to an uncontaminated and undamaged earth as a ground of human history, of culture, and of social bonds that make each generation and individual a member of one human family.
Palm Beach County, are you ready to party? Help the Florida Bobcats, our new arena football team, blow the lid off the West Palm Beach Auditorium, the Animal House. Join the 50-yard indoor war Saturday night, May 18th at 7:30 p.m. Come watch your Florida Bobcats knock the San Jose SaberCats back to the Ice Age. The Bobcats are ready. The Animal House is ready. How about you? Call 1-800-897-7097 to get your seats. Call the Cat.
With Terry Norvell, I'm Barry Milligan with you on a gorgeous afternoon for baseball on the Jacksonville University campus. The line score, not so pretty for the Dolphins, however. 5 runs, 11 hits, and an error for Western Kentucky. 0-5-1 for Jacksonville, as the Dolphins in danger of losing another series here in the Sun Belt Conference, which would keep the hopes alive for Western Kentucky for possibly making the Sun Belt Conference tournament.
And tell those fans this game's not over. JU has a history of coming back from large deficits, so no reason to head to the exits. Scott Stevens, though, we're mentioning the work he's doing on the hill, keeping JU semi in the game. 63 pitches as we head into the top of the 7th. So, again, in this warm weather, you can be sure Doug Corver, the pitching coach, will keep an eye on his left-hander.
Maybe a little trip to get some more sunscreen.
Sure. A little zinc oxide, isn't that the nose stuff?
Stevens will face, guess who? TJ Freeman. To start off.
Well, there's an upset.
That is the 4th time this game that TJ Freeman has led off an inning. The bottom third of the order. 7, 8, and 9, Freeman, Flynn, and Grice scheduled up for Western.
And TJ Freeman, for as much excitement as it brings to him leading off innings, you got to believe the batter right before him, Eric Rosa, is not nuts about TJ leading off innings.
No, that's right. Rosa, Mr. Ofer today with a couple of strikeouts. TJ has a hit back in the 2nd, scored a run, popped out in the 3rd, grounded out in the 5th. Takes a strike there from Stevens, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Stevens still showing good command of his pitches. His fastball has a little bit of pop on it, still snapping off the breaking ball.
Fastball that Freeman takes a cut at, comes up empty, and it's now 1-2.
Same place somewhere.
TJ Freeman, we mentioned earlier, local kid, product from Bowling Green, local if you're Western Kentucky. Good-looking kid, too. 6'3", 205-pounder. Nominated for the Kentucky High School Baseball Player of the Year. Hit .390 as a batter, went 9-2 with a 1.2 ERA and 119 strikeouts as a pitcher. Pretty good sign for Joel Murray. It's a hard ground ball out to Wood. They get it to Stevens and just did get him. Nice play. Wood to Stevens. 3-1 if you're scoring with T-Mac and I. 1 up, 1 down here in the Western 7th.
Tell you, it was a little comical to watch Scott Stevens having to get over and cover. He's labored for several innings now in the heat, and his facial expression told it all. He's like, I think I can beat him to first base. Wood with a nice underhand toss, which makes the play. Stevens also has to catch it on the run, which can be a little tricky, but he pulls it off in that instance.
Scott Flynn, second sacker for the Toppers, up for his 4th plate appearance of the day. Scott with 1 hit in 3 trips thus far. Takes a strike from Stevens. Scott Flynn, a transfer from Lassen College, a native of Vancouver, Washington, rips one into center field. One hopper that Joe Samples comes up with, and Flynn with his 2nd hit of the day keeps it going here in the Western Kentucky 7th inning.
Flynn doing his part to keep the order that Western cannot go down 1, 2, 3. He does his part to make sure that does not happen. Hit the ball well right back up the middle.
1 down now for Dan Grice. Another transfer. A lot of West Coast guys on this Western Kentucky roster, too. Dan Grice, a native of Eugene, Oregon, attended, how about this, College of the Redwoods.
Oh, sure.
Team most valuable player last year on his JUCO club. As Scotty Flynn chased back to first by Scott Stevens.
By my count, Barry, I'm showing the Western Kentucky 7, 8, and 9 hitters totaling 4 hits, as well as they hit the ball at the top of the lineup. If they get 4 hits or so from the bottom of the lineup, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Breaking ball, yep. As Grice looking all the way. Danny got a single his last time up after a couple of flyouts. He's 1 for 3. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. 1 out, top of the 7th inning. Western Kentucky spotted a run in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd to Jacksonville, and the Dolphins have not been able to answer. The 0-1 pitch, a little pitch out, nothing going. Flynn out there at first base, 4 out of 6 in steals this year, but we have seen the hit and run, a little run and hit. We've seen a little bit of everything.
And I'll tell you what makes it easier as a coach to call a hit and run is your batters are not going down striking out. I mean, they're all putting the ball in play. Very few strikeouts in the game for the Hilltoppers.
It's put into play once again. They go to second, 1 over to first, and not in time. Good play, though, by Wood to Osbeck to get the leadoff, or the lead runner, Flynn, cut down at second base, but Grice hustling down the line to prevent the double play opportunity.
I will guarantee you Scott Stevens is thinking, why are they hitting the ball in the first baseman's area where I have to cover? Good job by Wood, though. Left-handed first baseman has a tendency to make that throw and not follow through and put a tail on it, and it has a tendency to go into the outfield. Wood makes a very nice throw to ensure 1 out.
Scott Stevens, you see, 5 complete innings now, has allowed only 5 hits. Boy, he has done a fabulous job in relief of Wade Taylor. 2 down now as it's thrown away. And hustling all the way to third is going to be Dan Grice as Stevens tried a snap throw over to Eric Wood and threw it up the right field side that Wood had absolutely no chance whatsoever of fielding. So it'll be a 2-base error on Scott Stevens, and now Western Kentucky with a runner at third.
And that hurts if you're Scott Stevens and the entire JU team. You're about to retire, or hopefully about to retire, the Hilltoppers with yet another 0 on the board, but now you got to do it. If you're going to do it, it's going to take a little more work. Man on third with 2 outs.
And Chad Chabala, a tough out at the plate. Chabala, a couple of singles, scored 2 runs, walked his last time up, has been retired only once today in 4 trips.
What that also does is put more pressure on catcher Chad Roney. He's had a nice afternoon knocking down pitched balls that are in the dirt, but now he has to be even more fine on that.
There's a breaking ball over for a strike. Chabala, we have seen, made some outstanding plays defensively in center. Was the Hilltoppers left fielder last year. Started every game but one, played in all 56, so he has certainly made the defensive transition very well. 1-1 pitch, hit off the end of the bat. Hamilton's going to have to come hard, and he's not going to get it. Boy, how big is that error now? A little insurance run here for Western Kentucky as the RBI single for Chabala. Scores Dan Grice, who had gone to third on the Scott Stevens throwing error. So now another 2-out run for Western Kentucky, and it's Toppers 6, Dolphins nothing.
Chabala doesn't hit it well. It has nice plate coverage, though. Ball on the outside part of the plate. Hits it where they ain't, as they say in baseball. And again, that 2-base throwing error by Stevens comes back to haunt him. Chabala, by the way, having a very nice day, as you alluded to, defensively as well as at the plate.
For Chabala, RBI number 33 on the season for him. His 3rd single of the day, and it's Matt Idlett, the Toppers left fielder, up again. After reaching on an error and getting hit by a pitch, Idlett has struck out and flied out and has taken consecutive balls from Scott Stevens.
Concentrate out there now.
2-0 the count. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Toppers with 1 run in. And the 2-0. Hit hard, right at Gregor, and he boots it. Runner was going on the play. The only play was to first, but Gregor not able to make that play. It will be the 2nd error of the inning for Jacksonville University, and the inning stays alive for the Toppers.
Got no business on the field.
Ball was hit hard here by Idlett, but it's a ball that has to be fielded and an out recorded. Now you have that dreaded 2-out rally that won't end sometime. A little bit of stirring in the JU bullpen. Jim McKinney, the right-hander, runs down to get loose. Got to start questioning Scott Stevens in terms of a pitch count. Now, he's done his job, no doubt, but you got to start wondering if the gas tank's getting a little low.
And there is some action in the Jacksonville University bullpen. It's senior Jim McKinney, the right-hander, who is up and throwing now as Stevens across with the breaking ball for strike 1. Tell you what, just flat too bad for Scott Stevens, too, who has pitched very, very well. Obviously, defensive miscues, one of his own, has cost him at least 1 run and several extra pitches here in the 7th. 2 aboard now with 2 out. Breaking ball, and the bouncing ball hit out to Osbeck. Runners were going again. Zach makes a nice long throw to retire McKenzie. Toppers get a run on 2 base hits. Dolphins make 2 errors, and 2 Toppers are left on base. We're through 6.5 with Western Kentucky leading now 6-0. Take a stretch.
Are you ready for some volleyball? Well, get ready to spike it up. Spike It Up, the official amateur volleyball tour of the AVP and NBC Sports, is open to players of any age and ability. Whether you play once a day or once a year, Spike It Up has a division for you. Spike It Up brings the ultimate volleyball weekend. Exciting volleyball action and volleyball-themed special events.
Spike It Up!
For an entry form, call the Spike It Up hotline at 1-800-680-PLAY.
On a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in Jacksonville, we come to you from Breast Field on the campus of Jacksonville University. It's not a good day so far. Dolphins with a couple of errors in the 7th, accounting for another Western Kentucky run, and the Toppers now with 13 hits and a 6-0 lead over Jacksonville. As we move to the bottom of the 7th inning, Duffy Grimes, Todd Greger, Joe Samples, numbers 8, 9, and 1, the scheduled hitters for Jacksonville. Duffy 0 for 2 today, struck out and flied out and takes a strike on a Josh Novotny fastball. You know, Joe Murray just may want to pitch Novotny in relief, give him about 10 hours rest, and then bring him right back the rest of the season if the guy's going to come back and pitch like this.
All the good shutout pitchers are doing that these days, I believe, Barry.
It's unbelievable. He's now pitched 10 2/3 innings in less than 24 hours. Duffy hits it hard on the one hop, but right at Grice, who makes the play. So Grimes retired to lead off the Dolphins 7th.
Again, Duffy still looking for that first base hit as a Dolphin, as a collegian, actually. Hit that ball right on the button, but as the case is when you're struggling, right at somebody.
Right at him. Yep, that has been the Jacksonville University problem many times during the course of this season. One out now for Todd Greger, who singled his last time up. Takes a breaking ball from Novotny, swing and a miss, strike 1. Memo to Joel Murray: if you face JU, pitch Novotny.
You're a smart man, Barry.
Thank you very much. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Greger. Breaking ball, up and away, ball 1. One fastball runs inside.
Novotny definitely in control all day, though. His misses are close even. Nice pitch right there.
Fastball overthrew that one just a little bit. Novotny with a couple of walks so far today.
Recovering bodies that are still in the water. We'll probably have a better chance with the divers during daybreak when it's a lot lighter and we get a better picture of the area.
All right, Petty Officer Lanier, thanks very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Joining us by telephone from West Hampton Beach, Long Island, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Stevie. He is with the New York State Air National Guard. And I gather you've debriefed a number of people who were in the air at the time of the explosion. Take them one at a time, would you, Colonel?
Okay. First off, the first person that I talked to was on the ground, actually. And we happen to have 2 airplanes airborne at the time in our local training area doing local exercises. This person was on the ground, and he noticed that at altitude what he described as a red object. He can't say that it was in flames, but a red object falling out of the sky at an angle of about 50 degrees or so. At some point, as this object continued to fall, it burst into flames, into what he called a wide swatch of flames. He didn't hear any explosion. His particular point was probably about 12 to 14 miles away from where the final wreckage came down, where the main debris site is. And at this point, this was about 5 to 8 seconds. He was watching this object fall out of the sky. At this point, he jumped into a truck, and the thing fell from view behind the horizon.
Now, what about the men who were airborne? You had what, a C-130 up there, and a helicopter?
That's correct. We had a helicopter who happened to be about 7 miles away, and just happened to be facing in a direction. He reported to me that he saw a large section of debris, not identifiable as to what part of the aircraft it was, but it was engulfed in flames, and it was spiraling down there was a spiral smoke trail above it that remained in the air for some time, and they saw this strike the water. Before it struck, a small section of it broke off, also in flames, and it hit the water as well. They were on top of the area that you've been showing on the news, this flaming debris area. About 2 minutes later, they pulled back somewhat when they noticed there was still debris falling out of the sky around them. And what they described was a much smaller area. The fire wasn't as intense as you've been seeing on the news originally. The fire developed as time went on. It got heavier.
Colonel Stevie, we have a lot of ground to cover this evening, so if you could just very quickly tell me, what about the crew of the C-130? What did they see that was in any way different?
Not too much different. I will add just one thing, that the helicopter crew also noticed that there was a aircraft slide raft in the water, partially inflated. At this point, there were no other airplanes on scene that could have thrown a raft out, so it must have been from the aircraft. And approximately 1/2 mile away from where the flaming debris was, there was another area of aircraft floating debris that was not on fire, and there was an area of about 20 to 30 bodies in that debris patch.
Colonel Stevie, thank you so much for your help.
Okay.
Standing by now with the latest details on the crash, ABC's Bill Blakemore. Bill?
4:10 p.m. here in New York. First word of the crash broke into the evening broadcasts.
A 747 jetliner is missing over the ocean off the Moriches Inlet on the south shore of Long Island. The plane is missing. There are reports of a very large explosion in the area.
Soon the basic facts became clear. A TWA 747 on its way to Paris, down in the Atlantic off Long Island, with more than 200 people on board. The first eyewitness reports began to come in.
And I was pulling my boat back in. I was tying it up, and the guy next to me was tying his boat up. And we were just talking, and the guy said, "Hey, look at the flare." And I turned around, looked at the flare, and I'm like, wow, somebody must have some trouble in the bay. And no sooner I said that, the thing just like exploded, and it looked like a Christmas tree of fire going down to the water.
The information is very sketchy. Apparently the plane was seen to explode and fall into the sea almost immediately, and there was an alert put out at that point, and units began to respond.
We have helicopters flying over the house. Before we left the beach to find out exactly what happened, you could see all of the boats and all of the helicopters out in the water circling.
At about 11 o'clock here, the first dramatic evidence of how devastating the crash had been. Live aerial pictures showing bits of flaming wreckage on the surface of the ocean scattered over a 1-mile area.
What you are looking at right now is a live picture of some of the wreckage, some of the burning wreckage in the water right now.
At a news briefing, Michael Kelly of TWA Operations said that TWA security had been at an extremely high level during recent weeks because of the upcoming Olympics.
We have responded to the FAA directive with regard to the increased security levels, as have all carriers.
Which is what?
Well, I'm not going to go into the details of the security levels right now.
Then a flight crew of the 106th National Air Guard landed at the Long Island Air Base. They had actually been on a training flight in the air near the 747 when it went down. Some kind of fire from the 747 in the air caught their attention, and they flew closer.
The crew was startled by a big flash of light in the sky, and we turned our attention and the aircraft over in that direction. Next thing we know, we see huge amounts of smoke off the ocean floor, and we proceeded over there within a couple minutes, right with our Jolly helicopter, who was also airborne with us. And we proceeded in looking for survivors, and as we were making a search of the area, we could tell that it was probably some sort of passenger jetliner.
So far here in New York, there is no clear indication of why the plane went down. Ted?
What, if anything, Bill, do we know about who was aboard the plane?
Well, Ted, station WNEP in Scranton, Pennsylvania is now reporting that 21 members of the Montoursville, Pennsylvania High School French Club were supposed to be on Flight 800 tonight. They have no reason to believe that they weren't. They haven't confirmed that they got on board, but they haven't heard from them since the plane went.
Two on, two out. Dolphins trying to get a run. Get that goose egg off the board here in the home half of the 7th inning. The 1-0 to Neri, misses again, and it's 2-0. I want to take a quick opportunity to thank Ken Dominski, Baseball Sports Information Director from Western Kentucky, and welcome back Wayne Orshine, who does marketing and promotions for the Hilltoppers, formerly employed by the University of North Florida here in Jacksonville. Good to see Wayne again.
I will second that. I was in early bending Ken's ear and having him provide me with some information on the Hilltoppers baseball team.
I'll leave my card for the check. Thank you very much. Pennard struggling here a little bit. 3-0 the count now on Neri. Lost him on 4 pitches. For the first time today, the bases are full of fish.
And don't look now, but a well-placed base hit would make this game a little interesting.
It certainly would. You know, we were talking about it yesterday. It was so weird. We were down, Dolphins down 6-1. They had battled back a little bit. Sports information director here at Jacksonville University, Rich Page, with Chad Roney at the plate, says, you know, if Roney could park one, this would be an interesting game. 2 pitches later, he hits one out over the wall. Still not the guru that he thinks he is, but Page had his moment yesterday. Now bases loaded, 2 out in the 7th for Chad Roney again. Could lightning strike twice? Well, there's a strike from Pennerts, and Roney's down 0-1.
The Dolphins haven't exactly burned up third base. They haven't had too many runners on third base.
They sure haven't.
That's kind of a win for the Dolphins as we speak.
Actually, Eric Wood got as far as third back in the 2nd inning, and that's been it. Right now, Samples is at third, Hamilton at 2nd, Neri at 1st. And Chad Roney at the plate looking for the big shot. And hits it softly out to second base, and the play is made. And the Dolphins leave the bases loaded in the 7th. No runs on 1 base hit, no errors, and 3 Dolphins left on base. We're through 7 complete, and Western Kentucky still holding a commanding lead over Jacksonville. We're through 7 complete here at Brass Field on the JU campus. Western with 6 runs. Look at Josh Novotny. That freshman goes 4 2/3 yesterday. Comes back 6 2/3 today. Scatters 6 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts yesterday.
Not much to be said, Barry, about a line like that. It speaks for itself. Nice line. Speaking of nice line, Scott Stevens is now removed from the JU mound. Jim McKinney comes in to replace Stevens. Here's a line for you for Scott Stevens. 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. That run was not earned, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. So a couple of nice pitching performances as we see Jim McKinney, the big right-hander, 18 games, 1-3, a rather high ERA, couple of saves. As you look here, he gives up a few hits now, 45 1/3 innings pitched against 57 hits, so he's getting hit. But he has had his moments this season. Jim McKinney, the new pitcher for the Dolphins.
And luckily for Jacksonville, most of those moments are coming lately.
Yeah.
McKinney was one of the guys, one of the veterans on this pitching staff, counted on to really bolster the staff until some of the young guys could earn their stripes a little bit. McKinney, I mean, frankly, was just awful early in the season. His last 3 or 4 outings, though, have been very solid. So Dolphins looking for McKinney to come in and at least hold Western to that 6-run total right now, and perhaps Dolphins can come up with another late inning rally. McKinney will face Josh Patton, C.J. Martin, Eric Arosa. Numbers 4, 5, and 6 here in the top of the 8th inning. Patton, all he's done is get 3 hits today and got hit the other time he was up. Reached base all 4 times. McKinney missed a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes to count now to Patton.
Got to be impressed by the 4 or 5 hitters, Josh Patton and C.J. Martin. They're not over-swinging. They take their hacks, but they don't over-swing. They're tough outs and good hitters.
2-0 fastball caught the inside corner. And it's 2 ball and 1 strike. There's same spot again. Inside part of the plate. 2-2 now, the count on Patton.
McKinney obviously charged with 6 outs and no runs. That's what they need from him. They're down, the Dolphins down 6-0. They can't afford to give up many more.
Well, they came over the top with a breaking ball that bounced down in the dirt. Patton thought about it, but held up, and the count full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the payoff pitch. Fastball lost. Josh Patton has been perfect on base today. 5 for 5. As Jacksonville once again, now Ryan Delacroix, who we told you was the everyday shortstop through much of the season, has gone now into the bullpen for Jacksonville. Pitched well for the Dolphins a year ago as a freshman and has begun warm-up tosses now. With a leadoff runner aboard, C.J. Martin steps in. A couple of hits today and 4 trips for C.J. Breaking ball just missed. And it's ball 1 to count to Martin.
McKinney definitely didn't pick a time in the game or the batting order to kind of bleed into it. Patton and Martin, 2 quality hitters on this Western Kentucky baseball team.
The 1-0 pitch. Fastball down in the dirt again.
You know, I mentioned the first 2 batters in McKinney's facing here. He's struggling a little bit, but as a relief pitcher, though, that's par for the course. You don't, as a reliever, you don't come into a game just because. You come in during the pressure situation, so this is nothing new to Jim McKinney.
Well, and they've just given Delacroix the signal to pick it up because McKinney is struggling. He walks the first man he faces, Josh Patton, and now the count 3-0 to C.J. Martin. Exactly not what you wanted from your senior reliever. 2 men faced, 2 men walked. Eric Rosa now, Western Kentucky catcher, up for his 5th appearance of the day. And Eric Rosa is the only Hilltopper that has not touched first base. Rosa and Idlet, neither of the 2 have base hits, but Idlet has reached a couple of times on errors and was hit by a pitch. Eric Rosa, the only man that has not been on base today for Western Kentucky. In a sacrifice situation with 2 men on and nobody out.
JU will now, if the fun is in order, which it could be from Western, will definitely need to record an out here and give them a chance to, at some point, get a double play and get out of the inning.
And McKinney, you got to throw strikes. Even to try and get the sacrifice situation, you got to throw the kid a strike.
You're exactly right, Barry. When I say they need to record an out, obviously, if it's executed, Western will move runners to 2nd and 3rd. You're at the bottom of the order, though. You can afford to walk if you choose to Scott Flynn, who's on deck, setting up the double play situation. You need to get out of the inning definitely unscathed.
They go to Osbeck to try and catch Josh Patton off second base there. Patton in on his belly. Slides in safely. McKinney threw an inning yesterday, and it wasn't pretty. Gave up 3 hits and a couple of earned runs. Runners are going on the play, and they're going to have a double play as a line shot was hit.
Or actually, that was a one big hop to
It was one hopper. I beg your pardon.
It was hit hard. It looked like that one big hop to Gregor, which Gregor was in close on his third base position, obviously playing for the bunt. But you kind of wonder from this angle, did he have a chance to tag the runner going to third right at that point? But I guess there was a little too much space. He went with the sure out over to first base.
Yeah, and Gregor was a step or two in on the grass.
Right.
So with 1 out now and runners at second and third. Good job again, Joel Murray, with the runners going on the play, having something happening. Not comfortable with Rosa being up there in a bunt situation, so they will issue the intentional pass to T.J. Freeman.
And this is exactly the situation, though it wasn't a sacrifice bunt. The hit and run got the 2 runners in the scoring position, second and third. JU having in the position to face the bottom of the Western Kentucky order. Now they're able to intentionally walk Freeman, loading the bases, but you've got the number 8 hitter, Scott Flynn, who came into the game hitting .250. I'll take my chances that I can roll a double play and get out of this inning with no more runs scored.
Bases full of toppers. Patton at third, Martin at second, Freeman on the intentional walk out at first, and Scotty Flynn, the second baseman, up. Flynn 2 for 4 today.
There goes my theory.
Had a good day so far. McKinney greets him with a breaking ball for strike 1.
You factor in the fact that he's 2 for 4, though, from the 8 spot. But then again, when you bang out 13 hits, you're going to be spread around.
That's right. And Delacrosse is ready in the Dolphin bullpen. The 0-1, another good-looking breaking ball to Scott Flynn, who is down in the count now, 0-2. Oh boy, how about a little ground ball double play here? Something we haven't seen out of the Dolphins. JU turned 4 double plays last Sunday in that third game of the Southwestern Louisiana series, and one would be good here for the green and gold. McKinney misses up and away, and it's 1-2.
Looking around the Sun Belt, JU's next opponent, University of New Orleans, currently leads Texas Pan Am 1-0 in the 8th in other Sun Belt action. Dolphins have to travel to New Orleans, second place in the conference as we speak.
1-2, breaking ball hit high in the air. They come to the plate for the force, and that's all they will get. But a good solid play. Gregor comes to Roney, and they cut down Josh Patton at the plate.
Unfortunately for the Dolphins, the ball was pounded into the ground. High hop takes any chance of a double play away, but Gregor does a nice job, hits Roney right in the numbers, and cuts down the run at the plate.
Tell you one thing, that's a good throw, too, by Gregor over at third, who's had his defensive problems today, to get the ball quickly to Roney, but to not hit the runner, Patton,
good point,
who was streaking for the plate. 2 down now, and it's a 2-out base hit. 1 run is in, and also coming in to score, there will be no play at the plate. A 2-run, 2-out single for Dan Grice has given Western Kentucky 2 more runs, and the Toppers have taken a commanding 8-0 lead.
We talked about all day JU, when they're up to bat on offense, they can't find that 2-out big hits and bust open a rally. But here you'll see the shortstop and the number 9 hitter, Dan Grice. He picks one out and drives it, hits the ball well, and picks up a couple of RBI in the process.
Well, that bottom third has really done a nice job today. Yep, 24 RBI now on the year for Dan Grice. 8-0 our score as Chad Chavala, the 7th man to come to the plate here in the 8th inning for Western, steps in again for his 6th trip to the plate today. Chavala with 3 singles, 2 runs scored, an RBI, and a walk. Lifts one high in the air, just a couple of steps on the grass into right field, and Duffy Grimes able to retire it. But Western comes up with a couple of runs on only 1 base hit, and the Toppers leave 2. It's 8-0 Western.
many kids, growing up can be tough. That's why Nike and the NHL are taking hockey to the streets. In NHL cities all over North America, Nike NHL Street offers thousands of kids the chance to learn how to play the game, how to work together, and how to have fun, all in a safe environment. To get more information on Nike NHL Street, call 1-800-929-PLAY.
Joe Pennertz, pitcher number 2, trying to shut down Jacksonville in relief of Josh Novotny, as Western Kentucky has done a good job of shutting down the Dolphins all day. Western with 8 runs, 14 hits, and an error. The Dolphins 0-6-3.
And Barry, you have to take your hat off for Western Kentucky. 3 facets of the game of baseball: hitting, pitching, and defense, and the Hilltoppers have performed in all 3 areas.
Right, particularly, I tell you, what a job by Novotny in this game. Coming in, shutting down Jacksonville yesterday in the second game of the doubleheader. Chabala, a couple of excellent defensive plays in center. Idlet, a solid left field today. Bottom of the 8th inning for Jacksonville. It'll be Eric Wood, Zach Osbeck, and Andy Worster. Numbers 5, 6, and 7 for Terry Alexander's club. Eric Wood trying to get his first hit of the day. Swings and misses at a Pennert's fastball for strike 1. Eric walked and got as far as third base in the second. Reached on an error in the 4th and flied out in the 6th. Officially, Eric 1 for 2 on the day. A little bit high on that fastball by Pennertz. That evens the count at 1-1. That one beat into the ground and into right field for a base hit. As Pennertz got the fastball down where you want it. A good location. Wood went down there, kept that head still, and just beat it past Scott Flynn for a base hit. 7th hit of the day for Jacksonville. A leadoff single here in the 8th for Eric Wood.
Leadoff single is important. JU has shown throughout the game they have had a problem getting the 2-out hit. So obviously, late in the game, 6 outs and counting before the game's over. JU has to scratch here and carve into that 8-0 lead. Deficit, actually.
Eric Wood walked in the 2nd and singled here in the 8th. Those are the only 2 times in this game that JU has had the leadoff man on.
Tough to win like that.
Zach Osbeck with a couple of singles so far today in 3 trips. Another one would be big here. Zach Osbeck has just taken another one for the Dolphins.
You talk about JU not getting leadoff men on base, and then they're not getting a 2-out hit. So what do? Well, you need a little help like this. Pennertz hits Osbeck with the pitch. That puts first and second now with no out. So obviously, if you're not getting 2-out hits, you're not getting leadoff batters on base, you need a lot of help, and that's exactly what JU is attempting to get right now from the Hilltoppers.
Zach Osbeck now has tied a single season record for the Jacksonville University Dolphins. He has been hit 13 times this year. That ties Andy Escala for the single season record here at JU.
And I can guarantee you Osbeck didn't sit around with the fellas before the season and circle that and say, I'm going after that record, that hit by pitch record. That's mine, guys.
2-1, nobody out. Worster hits the ball hard. What a great play. They get the double play. Oh, my. Dan Price, a diving stab of a hard-hit ball by Andy Worster. Worster, with no wheels whatsoever, easily doubled up for the 2nd time today. Worster hits into a double play.
Couple things that stand out. The play by Grice obviously lays out, fields the ball, then composes himself, makes a terrific flip to his second baseman, Flynn, who, as you alluded to, had time because of the batter Worster. Not the fastest guy down the line, just a fabulous play, and the kind of play that you get when you get a good pitching performance.
Going to get a pinch hitter now, Terry. As we were talking during the innings, do you go the entire way with the redshirt freshman Duffy Grimes? Instead, it will be John White coming on now to pinch hit for Grimes. White making his 26th appearance for JU this year, hitting .241, 3 homers, and 12 runs batted in. Dolphins with a runner at third. Boy, it looked once again as if JU would have a promising inning. Great defensive play by Dan Grice. I mean, not only to get the one, but Scott Flynn, plenty of time on the turn. 2 double plays turned today by Western. And both have been when the Dolphins had 2 on and nobody out.
That was as nice a double play as you will find at any level. Grice lays out, makes the play, and a strong flip to second base.
There's a strike to White after 2 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count now. 2 men out, bottom of the 8th inning. What looked to be a promising inning for Jacksonville now might go by the boards if the Dolphins can't come up with a 2-out hit. White takes again low and away, and it's 3-1.
What may have been lost in that double play, Worcester hit the ball right on the nose.
Oh,
that ball had RBI written all over it.
Pennertz loses White to the base on balls now. Dolphins at the corners.
It's been actually a strange half inning here for Pennertz. He bases on balls. He gives up a single. The double play ball, as I alluded to a moment ago, was hit right on the nose. So he's flirting with it a little bit right now.
Now, obviously, he has not pitched well this inning. Gave up a leadoff single to Wood. The ball that was hit hard hit Zach Osbeck. Worcester hit it hard, but the defense helps him, and now Todd Greger laces one, but it is dropped. It is dropped by C.J. Martin, and the Dolphins do score a run. C.J. Martin, with a defensive miscue in right field, allows the Dolphins to score a run.
The ball was hit hard. Martin backpedaling the whole way, and it looks like he might have, when the ball made contact with his glove, his final step was on his heel, and it looks like it just flat out jarred the ball loose. He has it momentarily, as you will see, and then his final back pedal looks like he heavy-legged it a little bit, Barry, and knocked the ball out of his glove.
At the corners, there are Dolphins once again. John White hustles around to third. Todd Greger on at first now on the second error of the day by Western Kentucky, and Joe Samples up for his 5th appearance. Joe singled his last time up. In 4 trips, Joe is 1 for 4. Breaking ball missed down and away. Tell you, Dolphins have hit the ball hard here in the 8th off Pennertz.
And what you do here if you're Samples, the leadoff hitter, and Hamilton on deck, number 2 hitter, you're trying to set the table for a bigger inning. You're not going to win the game with home runs. You're trying to set the table for your big hitters.
Bouncing ball that is fouled over in the Western Kentucky dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. The count on Samples. Joe, the 6th Dolphin to come to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
I think C.J. Martin with the error in right field moments ago. It's hard to fault that Hilltopper outfield, though. They've covered some ground and made some nice plays on some difficult, as you alluded to, Barry, as well. Jay's hit the ball hard. Don't have a whole lot to show for it today, but they've hit the ball well.
Yep. 1-2 to Samples. Inside, wild pitch. It gets away. Not far enough. John White did not come home.
I'll tell you what I think happened. Let me give my theory on that. Samples, a left-handed batter. The ball bounces away from Rosa, the catcher. If you watch this and keep in mind the angle that John White on third base may have had, the angle he may have had, we were looking at a different angle here. Samples, the batter, may have gotten in the line of sight of John White, who was on third. Why risk it? You're down 7 runs. If you're not sure, stay where you're at.
Todd Greger did move up to second base. So Dolphins now have 2 in scoring position as Samples fouls another one away. This one over in the Dolphin dugout.
What happened, though, Barry, like I was saying, Rosa, Samples ended up between the ball, Rosa, and the vision of John White. So he said, hey, why not? We're down by so much. I'm not going to make an out at the plate.
Couple men aboard. Here's the 2-2 to Samples, way up high. And the count full now at 3-2. And it is Kerry Braun now up and throwing in the Jacksonville bullpen. Payoff pitch. Samples lifts it high in the air. Drifting out of play. Giving chase, Josh Patton over there, the Western Kentucky third sacker.
As we try and keep everyone abreast on action in the Sun Belt Conference in the 7th inning, Louisiana Tech 7, Lamar 6. So we're looking around the conference as this season, the regular season that is winding down.
Here's the 3-2 to Samples. Hit hard. And after first baseman McKenzie makes the play, the flip to Pennertz. And that'll do it for the Dolphins. Jacksonville scores its first run of the game on one base hit, and there was one Western error. After 8 complete, it's Toppers 8, Dolphins 1. Seven-run lead for Western Kentucky as we move to the top of the 9th inning, and it will be sophomore Ryan Delacroix on the hill for Jacksonville. Ryan making his second appearance of the year. Got a win yesterday in 1 inning.
Always nice.
Allowed 3 walks, got a strikeout, and facing 6 batters. So Delacroix takes the hill. The 4th Dolphin pitcher, and Robert Tyson comes in defensively, replacing Duffy Grimes out at second base, and should he have the opportunity, Tyson will hit in the number 8 spot. Matt Idlett, Shannon McKenzie, and Josh Patton, numbers 2, 3, and 4, will come up for Western Kentucky, and one Delacroix pitch is laced into left center field for a line drive single for Matt Idlett, who now becomes the 8th Hilltopper to get a single today.
And kind of a how do you do, Mr. Delacroix. My name's Matt Idlett, and I'm on first base. Idlett goes up thinking fastball. What he got right down the middle. Relief pitcher comes in down by a bunch. No reason to guess anything else was going to come.
I think Eric Rosa wants another at bat.
Oh,
he's the only guy that doesn't have a hit today.
He's tripping people at the bat rack right now, trying to get ahead of them. No skipping in line, Eric.
Shannon McKenzie at the plate with a runner on, nobody out, top of the 9th inning.
McKenzie actually had the blow early in, I guess, the 2nd inning, the double that really busted the game open. It cleared the bases, base were loaded at that time. He clears the bases and later comes on to score himself in that 2nd inning.
A 3-run, 2-out double in the 2nd for McKenzie. Takes a strike there from Delacroix, and it's even at 1-1.
Delacroix had an interesting, almost to be completed 2 years at JU. He's a relief pitcher the entire year last year. This year he's an infielder. Now he's back on the hill.
Breaking ball hit high in the air and deep to center field. Drifting back is Joe Samples, and he makes the play. McKenzie hit the ball well, but fielded by Samples. 1 out now in the Western 9th inning.
Third baseman, number 27, Josh.
15 hits for the Hilltoppers right now. They came in hitting .309 as a team, and they haven't done a whole lot to knock that average down any. They really swing the bat well as a team.
Western, like Jacksonville, will take the midweek off and entertain Texas Pan American next week in Bowling Green. They'll play a single game on Friday and a double dip on Saturday. And that will wrap it up for the Hilltoppers. The Sun Belt Conference schedule. Runner going on the play. Roney one hops it out. Osbeck can't handle it. That'll be a stolen base for Matt Idlet. He is now 11 of 16 on the year.
A team that doesn't run a lot, but very selective. If you look at some of the numbers, they are pretty successful and very selective on when they run.
73 stolen bases now as a team for the Hilltoppers. And Idlet out in scoring position as Josh Patton, who has been a terror at the plate today. Patton with 3 hits, a walk, and was hit by a pitch in the 4th, has reached base all 5 times. He has been to the plate.
Not a bad day.
Couple of RBI as well to show for it. Hits it hard the other way and to left field. Nanari comes up with it. They will hold him at third. Nanari misses the cutoff man. It doesn't hurt him though, as Patton holds up at first with his 4th hit of the day. Moving over to third is Idlet. Toppers with runners at the corners, 1 man out here in the 9th.
That ball was, it couldn't have been set on a tee any better for Patton. He jumps all over it, hits it well, and I guess you can say that about the entire batting order of the Hilltoppers. That was only hit number 16 on the day for Western.
16 hits for the Toppers, 7 for Jacksonville. C.J. Martin, the man at the plate now. He's got a couple of hits as well, a single and a double to show for his play today. Walked and scored a run, officially 2 for 4.
Got to ask yourself the question, do you go ahead and put Martin on and get DeRosa, who's had a tough day? Martin leading the Sun Belt, or way up there in terms of batting average.
Fastball outside corner. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike in the count. Patton has been on base all 6 at-bats today.
He may take a base back to Bowling Green with him. He's been on so much.
Telling you. That on-base percentage right about 41% by Patton. That's gotten better by several percentage points today.
Delacrosse, the JU reliever, does he still give you the appearance of infield return pitcher?
Nearly hit him with a high breaking ball. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. Ryan Delacrosse delivering to C.J. Martin. There you see what C.J. has done today. Here's the 2-1. Fastball that's ripped down the left field line. Past Todd Greger. 1 run is in. Going all the way to third is Josh Patton. Out to second with a stand-up double, and an RBI is C.J. Martin, and it's now 9-1 Toppers.
You may walk Patton to get to Rosa. JU decides not to. They go ahead and pitch to Martin, and he makes him pay.
That's the 2nd double of the day for C.J. Martin.
And there was no question about that. C.J. Martin absolutely unloads on that Delacrosse offering. Rattles it down in the corner for yet another RBI.
A team-leading 17 doubles for Martin. He now has 57 runs batted in. That leads the Topper squad as well. 9-1 Western, 17 hits for the Hilltoppers on the day. A strike there to Rosa. No balls and 2 strikes. Eric Rosa trying to keep from going 0 for 6 today. And the 0-2 pitch, just a little bit outside with a fastball.
I know it's a team game and all, but boy, you put a little 0 for 6 on the bus going back to Bowling Green when your team pounded out 17 as we speak and 9 runs. That makes that ride back a little longer.
I'm going to tell you what, that's a long enough ride to Bowling Green without going 0 for 6, which Rosa will do. However, a run does score. Josh Patton comes in to score. Moving over to third is C.J. Martin. So a fielder's choice and an RBI.
And I believe it's officially gotten ugly here at Pressfield. 10-1 right now.
Yeah. Rosa now 23 runs batted in, so he doesn't have a hit. At least he has an RBI, so he won't get razzed to death on the way back to Bowling Green. But but it'll be a tough ride anyway. T.J. Freeman, the designated hitter up, was intentionally walked his last time up in the 8th and eventually scored a run. Got a hit his first time up back in the 2nd, scored a run there too. There's another hit. As they say, the hits just keep on coming. Western Kentucky with another RBI single. C.J. Martin comes in to score for the 2nd time today. For Freeman, his 2nd hit, and RBI number 6 for him on the year. And if it wasn't ugly before, it is now.
Scott Porter loosening in the JU pen, the right-hander, freshman. Don't know if he wants to come in the game, having witnessed Western bang out 18 hits and counting.
4 hits in this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Scott Flynn. Scotty with a couple of hits today. 2 for 5 all told. Freeman at first. There you see what the Hilltoppers have done in this series. That has been plenty on the offensive side.
Wow, 6, 15, and 18.
Yeah.
In the hit column.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually 9, 15, and 18. Wow.
29 runs, 3 games.
6 as your low. You'll take that on the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the 2-2 to Flynn. Ripped right at Tyson. And mercifully, the 9th inning is over for Western. The Hilltoppers get 3 more runs on 4 base hits and leave 1. 3 outs away. The Dolphins trailing by 10.
Sports are in full bloom in May, and the sweet smell of excitement is on Sunshine. The boys of summer are back, and the Marlins are putting together an arrangement for success. And the college lads are in postseason form, because they're sniffing out a tourney title. Next, we'll put your rose pedal to the metal, because Prime Racing has a bouquet of speed just for you. And finally, with all this excitement, you may want to phone home for the AT&T Challenge from Atlanta. So be sure and check out what's blooming in May on Sunshine.
11 runs on 18 hits and a couple of errors for Western Kentucky. 1-7-3 for Jacksonville as we move to the bottom of the 9th inning. Along with Terry Norvell, I'm Barry Milligan with you here at Grass Field on the Jacksonville University campus. Brian Smith on the hill now for Western Kentucky, the 3rd Hilltopper pitcher of the day, trying to shut down the Dolphins here. T-Mac in the bottom of the 9th.
And I'll get this in just because I'm going to get this in. He's listed, Brian Smith, number 14 you see, as 5'9". Well, I'm not the tallest guy in the world. If he's 5'9", I'm 5'10 and a half.
Well, Ken Dominski, the baseball SID, has gotten out of here. I'm going to get all over him.
Yes, we are.
And that guy's 5'9".
Terry Norvell, your color guy today, 5'10 and a half.
That's right. Brian Smith, there you see what he has done so far this year. Brian, 5.14 ERA, which is 2nd on the club.
Oh, that was his height you were given, 5'1" for a minute there. That's a little low blow there, wasn't it? Listen to me with the height jokes there late in the game.
Brian, 7-4 on the season, making his 25th appearance of the year. And he will face Jason Hamilton, Talmadge Naneri, and Chad Roney, numbers 2, 3, and 4 in the Dolphin batting order. Greets Hamilton with a fastball strike.
Whatever Brian Smith's height, true height is, Barry, got a little fastball on him. I tell you, he brings it up there pretty good.
5-something sophomore out of Verdon, Illinois. As an offensive player last year, tripled in his very first at bat for Western Kentucky. 1-1, little check swing foul ball for Hamilton, who is down in the count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 to Hamilton. Another fastball that's hit right by Johnny Wiggs, the first base coach here for Jacksonville University. Despite an increasing age, Johnny Wiggs still with great reaction time.
He's definitely not the youngest guy coaching first base in Division I baseball. We know that. We're in trouble, Barry.
1-2, the count on Hamilton. And the pitch from Smith. Up high and way in, and that evens the count at 2-2.
Speaking of pitchers that are listed a little taller probably in their playing days than they are, Johnny Wiggs may qualify as that.
That's right. His pitching days coming down at the University of Florida as a collegiate.
Tough left-hander.
Yes, he was. Hard hit ball deep to center field, driving Chavala way back a step short of the track. And Hamilton is retired to lead off the 9th inning.
Been impressed with Chavala. Chad Chavala, the center fielder for Western Kentucky. Patrols it out there. Had a nice day defensively.
You see the replay again. Hamilton hits it hard, but Chavala, yeah, I tell you, you're right, Terry. We've talked about it today. It seems as if the Western outfielders have gotten a much better first step than the Dolphin outfielders in many opportunities today. Nice play by Chavala. One down now in the Dolphin 9th for Talmadge Nuneri, who rips another one. Hard one hopper, gloved by Shannon McKenzie. Man, I tell you, Toppers have a couple of errors today, but all told, the tough defensive plays have been handled very well.
Talmadge Nuneri all over that offering from Smith, much like the game in synopsis. Nice Sunday hop, trots over, tags first, 2 outs.
Boy, I tell you, Nuneri has hit the ball a lot harder than that 1 for 4
certainly
today,
has.
too. Dolphins down to their final out now, and Chad Roney 0 for 4 on the day. Swings and misses, strike 1. The 0-1 to Roney, just a little bit high, and that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 men out here, bottom of the 9th inning. Dolphins look to drop 2 out of 3 to Western Kentucky. That will keep the playoff hopes alive in the Sun Belt Conference tournament for the Hilltoppers. Breaking ball down and away. Roney holds up, and it's 2-1.
Makes you wonder what this Western team would do if they had a little more pitching. I know you can say that across the board in college baseball. You factor in the aluminum bats. Boy, they hit the ball well.
Here's the 2-1 to Roney. Chopped at the plate. And Rusty Green with the assist down there in the third base box for JU. Count now 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Dolphins, as we mentioned earlier, will take a week off before traveling to the Big Easy for a less than Big Easy weekend series against the Privateers of New Orleans. 2-2 to Roney, down and away, and it's 3-2. Brian Smith trying to close things out here in the 9th for Western. Chad Roney trying to prevent that from happening. The payoff pitch, fastball, hit up the middle for a base hit. So the Dolphins aren't quite dead yet. Roney with his first hit of the day, another 2-out hit. Seems like every hit today for Jacksonville has been of the 2-out variety. They just haven't been able to get the big hit when they have had run-scoring opportunities.
Pinch runner for the Dolphins, Roney, done for the day. Matt Wiegand, the backup catcher, one of the backup catchers in the run for Chad Roney. Good to see Roney get a hit here. He's trying to bang out of a season-long slump. It's not going to affect the outcome of this game, but maybe games in the future. Roney's swinging a better bat than he did 3/4 of the way through the season.
Exactly right, Terry. Wiegand now on at first, and Eric Wood, who is 1 for 3 today, singled and scored the only Dolphin run of the game last inning. Steps in, bouncing ball, and this should do it. Flynn to McKenzie, ball game Western. That wraps it up for the Dolphins, who get No runs and a base hit, and leave one here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Western Kentucky takes 2 out of 3 on the road against the home-standing Jacksonville Dolphins and keeps their playoff hopes alive. Final score, Western Kentucky 11, Jacksonville 1. Back to wrap things up in just a moment. Western Kentucky with their hitting hats on today. The Hilltoppers, 11 runs, 18 hits, and 2 errors. Jacksonville 1, 8, and 3. Your winning pitcher, Josh Novotny, the freshman, evens his record at 5-5. Wade Taylor takes the loss, going only an inning and 2/3, and falls to 3-5. And I tell you, Terry Norvell looks like a couple of teams right now, frankly, going in different directions. Jacksonville still looks to be in that top 6 for the Sun Belt Conference baseball tournament, but Western Kentucky, they keep hitting like that. Don't count the Toppers out.
And that graphic right there says it all. The Dolphins in the hit column, -10. The Dolphins in the run column, -10. They commit more errors and don't pitch as well as Western Kentucky, and that's how you lose 11-1.
Texas Pan Am next up for the Toppers for Jacksonville University. It'll be a road trip to New Orleans next weekend. Our next television game for Jacksonville University baseball is the final homestand of the season. We'll be here with you on Friday and Saturday, May 10th and 11th, as the Hurricanes come a-calling. Miami and Jacksonville, a couple of games, both of which will be live right here at 7 o'clock on Continental Cable Channel 25. For those of you watching this broadcast locally in the Jacksonville area, stay tuned. Florida Marlins baseball coming up next as the Marlins out on the West Coast taking on the San Francisco Giants. For those of you watching on tape delay, stay tuned for regular programming on Sunshine Network. That will wrap it up from Brass Field on the Jacksonville University campus. Once again, our final score, Western Kentucky 11 and Jacksonville 1. For our producer, director Mike Harper, and Terry Norvell, this is Barry Milligan saying so long from Brass Field. We'll be back with you once again on May 10th with Jacksonville and Miami.